And then every time they look at the robot, and I might go back and forth with the big face and then the little squares like this. So, all right, we are live. We are live, and wait for some folks to show up, and then we will start the show. I know we got some folks in the chat. Appreciate you guys all for being here. God bless you all. Another day, another dollar. No, yeah. So what's going on, guys? Happy Sunday to you. Hope you guys are doing well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to another episode of Age of Men podcast. Here in this podcast, we try to have lots of nuanced conversations. We bring on guests and whatnot. Try to have a fair and balanced conversation. Even when it's just myself and Nick, or Nick and I, we try to be a little bit nuanced and some objectiveness. Sometimes Nick may push back on me. I may push back on him. Just how it is sometimes.
And yet we're still toxic masculinist, chauvinist, misogynists.
Exactly. So nonetheless, it's like damn if we do, damn if we don't. So what's up, Yusuf? What's up, Mark? What's up, Batanis? What's going on? Appreciate you guys all being here. Do hit that like button and do hit subscribe if you're watching this on replay. And comment below what you think about today's topic. We're going to be covering, usually Nick and I would talk about various topics, but with this episode, I found this particular topic to be somewhat of a great conversation to have. So I saw this video on TikTok it was on Twitter. And there's this video. What's up, Amy? I saw this video on Twitter where there was this mother who was talking about her husband, speaking about the fact that, whenever her husband goes out to the store with the kids like 2 and 1 years old, I guess he gets comments on being.
He gets compliments, right? He gets a lot of compliments for being a good dad.
Not comments, compliments.
Yeah. And that sounds like a good thing, right? If you're a wife, hearing that that your husband, when you're not around, is actually doing a great job rearing your children. But Julius, go on.
Yeah, so it was interesting to me because, and I'm gonna pull the video up in just a second, but it was interesting to me because she's talking about how, again, her husband gets compliments for doing things that she does, and that she doesn't get any compliments. So that made me curious, and I said, I wonder if there's more videos like this, like across social media. So
there are a lot more, folks.
Yeah, I went on TikTok and I found quite a few videos of women talking about the compliments their husband gets for doing the bare minimum. They're calling it the bare minimum because
how much they hate him getting a little bit of praise for being a good dad.
Which is interesting though, because I was telling Nick this before we started the show. I said I think it's interesting too because it does come off like jealousy, but at the same time, if the bar is that low for men to be dads, what does that say about society, the way they view men as a whole? Because if they see a man who's a father and they go, "You're such a great dad," just for changing a diaper or being there with his kids at the park, are we saying that we don't view men as good dads? Now, one of the biggest problems is father absence. That's a big thing in this country. As you know, America is the number one country. It's the highest rate country of children living with single parents. 80% of single parent homes are led by women. 20% are by men. So when you have father absence, the way I see it is if you see a man who's with his child, whether it's husband and wife or single dad, and he gets praised for it, maybe the praise is because maybe the people where they go to, whether it's a restaurant, clients, grocery store, maybe they see lots of single parents, or when they see the dad just with the kids, maybe they don't see that often. So when they do see a dad in their child's life, it's like, hey, good job.
Well, maybe they just see how important it is on the face of it. Like, it's just, you can see a kid's reaction to their dad. And just that interaction alone. But Julius, you know what's fascinating about this? Men, when they're single fathers, literally, statistically, in all the important categories of it, if your child will be a success or not, they literally are indistinguishable from a nuclear family, mother, father, in the same house, which is very interesting because that's like the best, bar none, far and away, for children development. However, if you look at single mothers, it's bad comparatively. So what I'm saying is single fathers on paper raise children successfully to the exact same extent that a nuclear family does, which is the best option for kids. Single mothers, however, the numbers are terrible, man. I'm not even trying to talk shit on them, but it's not good.
Well, I do have something to say about that, and I'll get to that in just a second. But this is why I'm kind of trying to be a little bit objective and kind of see both sides. What I find interesting is this, right? Here's what's interesting. Now, when it comes to the women saying like, oh, he gets compliments and for doing the bare minimum, I do the exact same thing. Here's the thing: we talk about making men great again. We talk about make masculinity great again. We talk about make fathers great again, right? Make fatherhood great again. We have all these statements about wanting to make men great again and that we need masculinity, bring back masculinity. Okay, so if we're talking about that, why then are we going to complain that the man is getting a compliment? I mean,
For
women
being a good
celebrate.
dad. For being a good dad, dude. That's the part
Yeah,
that's so selfish about this, and it's so shallow. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. It's like men will get a compliment for being a good dad. I would argue that women celebrate each other all the time. They got Mother's Day. They have International Women's Day or whatever month it is. Women's marches. Heck, abortion. Women will celebrate other women for their
bro,
body and their
Women's Month, I believe, was the month of June, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that.
no,
But either way,
March.
March was it
March.
March? Okay. Well, that month just so happens to be by far the highest statistics for abortions.
Mm,
That's Women's Month. They're celebrating
interesting.
by aborting their babies.
That's pretty gross.
That just sums it up, Julius. That sums up like the state of affairs.
But that's what I'm talking about, though. It's like I would argue that there is a celebration of. I mean, look, I hate to even say this. This might be incorrect of me to say or be asinine. They got the 19th Amendment. I mean, I didn't think about this until today, where it's like the Constitution benefits both male and female, men, women, and children, but women have their own amendment. What
Not for
amendment?
long if we have anything to do with it.
I mean, yeah, repeal the 19th. I get that. But I'm saying, like, I mean, what amendment do men really have? Not saying we need it. I'm just saying that, like, that's the not celebration, but that's also what women have to say, well, hey, there's that empowerment, right? So again, on one end, it's like I'm seeing it as women are complaining that their husbands are getting complimented, and then you have some of the fathers. Matter of fact, there was an article written about this video too. So I'm gonna show you guys the video and show you guys the actual article. But it's interesting to me because I don't see a problem with. I'm not saying either or should get praised, but I don't see a problem with it. Like even me, right? Even me as a single dad, I've had compliments before, like, oh, it's nice that you're in your daughter's life. I've gotten that. I don't know if her mom's gotten that, but I know I've gotten that.
Doubtful.
I don't. I don't let that stroke my ego. I just say, oh, hey, thank you, I appreciate that because I know it's. I mean, I hate to say this, but especially in like the Black community, there's lots of single fathers, or you know what I mean, like single mothers and single fathers. So
Yeah.
you have that. So when you do see, I guess a person with my skin complexion in the child's life, it's a good thing. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. But let me go ahead and play this video here. And I'll read some of the comments in just a second. Let me just share this video here real quick. And then we'll get to the comments.
Sounds good. How dare that asshole husband of mine raise my kids so well that people notice and give him a praise for it?
It's wild, man. I was
What a
just like,
bastard.
I had a tweet to that too. I think I said this right here. Okay, so is it pulling up? Should be pulling up. There we go. Okay, let me go ahead and get this up. Now I'll play
That
you
also
guys.
reminds me, speaking of tweets, dude, I can't wait till we get to cover a little vindication for me. Pearly things, the things she tweeted.
I know. Maybe towards the end we will get to that. We'll get to that.
We have to at least shout it out, Julius, just for my own satisfaction.
Yeah. No, I got you. Okay, let me bring this video up here. There's actually two things I want to talk about with just Pearly thing, because two things that she said I was like, maybe three things, but we'll get to that. Okay, so here's that video here.
My husband just got home from the grocery store. He took both boys. They're 1 and 2. 3 people stopped him to tell him what a great dad he was for taking them to the store.
You should be so proud, huh?
Do you know how many times I've taken both of my kids to the grocery store, to literally everywhere? 1 million. How many people have stopped me to say I'm a great mom?
Maybe because they can sense your stale attitude, woman. My God, repeal the 19th, dude. I can't believe it. How she starts that story. You seriously would think this is a troll because it sounds like something that she's about to be like, I'm so proud that I have a husband like this. And it's the father of my kid. No. She's pissed off. She's jealous
Yeah.
and bitter. You can't make it up,
And
Julius.
what's crazy is too is that so just I'm gonna play more videos like this too, but just off of this video, right? I understand where she's coming from. I want to kind of see both sides of this. I understand where she's coming from. She basically so look. I'm trying to be objective. I try to be more objective.
I never saw you with this take coming. Go on.
I mean, because look, we as men, once we have children, right? What's up, Savannah? We as men, we have children. Right? It is our job to be a dad, right? It's our job to be a dad. It's our responsibility, right? So we have a duty to do. So I get where she's coming from because she's like, well, hey, I do just what he does, even though there is a difference between male and female, how men father their children versus how women mother their children. There is a difference. But they're both essentially doing the same job. So I get where she's coming from, but my issue is this. First of all, you go on TikTok and you make this apparent to like almost shame your husband for getting a compliment. Now, here's
a good dad.
Right. Here's what's interesting about this. I'm going to pull this article because it was something that the father said or the husband said that was like, it sounds a little bit politically correct. And
dude, he's probably walking on eggshells around his wife. And you know what what I take from all this is, lady, if you are truly doing the exact same thing as your husband's doing and you're not getting any compliments, it's because you seem so scary and off-putting that nobody would dare approach you.
I mean, especially with the attitude of like, do you know how many compliments I get? 0. And it's like, lady, like, do you want compliments? Like, you want a cookie? Like, do you know what I mean?
Dude, your husband's getting complimented for being a good dad to your children when you're not around, and you're pissed about that, dude. Like, it's...
Yeah. So this is the reason why I say that. Again, I'm being objective and say that I get where she's coming from because it is our responsibility to take care of the children, It's our job. So do we need praise? Not really. But at the same time, on the other side, I don't see the point of making the video, and again, shaming your husband to be like he gets compliment. And mind you, it was 3 people. It wasn't like it was 300. It was 3 people. Like out of how many days of how long he's been a father? Well, she said
dude,
1 and 2. So
Julius,
he's got 3 people that gave him a compliment.
Yeah, and like not even that. Like this is so mind-numbingly baffling to me. Like with your children, what you're supposed to do is reward good behavior and punish bad behavior, not punish good behavior. And that's what she's doing with her husband. Like, dude, don't you want him to be a good dad to your kids when you're not around? Like, isn't that a good thing to hear, regardless of how self-centered you are, that you can't help but be jealous about this? Like, can't you see it for the bigger picture? Like, my kids are benefiting from having a good dad.
But do you think that also too that there is like the bar is low? Like, now she didn't make this point, but do you think that the bar is low?
For the fact that,
like, because like, you know how like with black people, like they say like if you think for yourself as a black person and somebody tries to come along and like I guess white splaining to you, so it's like the soft bigotry of low expectation kind of thing. Do you think that's the same thing with fathers today? Like there's a soft bigotry of low expectation because the bar is
great question, man. Julius always comes up with the thoughtful questions, and that's great.
Because somebody
great question, man. But I think I actually have a reasonable answer. No, I would say that's not the case because again, single fathers statistically are indifferent from a nuclear family as far as success goes for a child.
Yeah.
They're actually performing better statistically than single mothers. So it's not low expectations for them performing to a low bar. That's not according to the statistics.
Yeah. I'm gonna read the chat real quick, but I see a little bit of a fight happening in the chat.
Oh Lord, Joseph, buddy, please relax. You're blowing up the whole chat, man. All I see is you just filling it with paragraphs and books. Like, buddy, we love you, but please let other people get some. We can't even read it when there's that many words in there.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta fix my Bluetooth because it keeps on like cutting the volume out. Can you still hear me? Nick, can
Yeah,
you hear me?
loud and clear, bro. Loud and clear.
All right. Just want to make sure because it kept going out. Huh? Make sure.
Bluetooth mode.
No, Grace, it's the lady's husband. Grace, if you're coming in midway, this woman made a TikTok video where it sounds like she's speaking good things about her husband. She starts off saying, my husband took my two sons to the store and ended up getting 3 compliments for his treatment of the kids. And that would be great, right? As a wife, like, you're like, oh man, peace of mind. I know my husband's out there getting compliments from other people for being a good dad when I'm not around. No, Grace, wrong. Instead,
Yeah.
can you believe it or not, this woman is so jealous and bitter of her partner who's there to raise her children, the father of her children, that she decided to shame him publicly by making a TikTok video that has now gone viral, and there's no way that he's not getting blowback from it now.
Yeah, and again, like this is the issue that I have. It's the fact that you go on TikTok to even like complain about the fact that your husband got a compliment because he's doing the bare minimum. It's like, but in a country where we have father absence, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like we have, again, 80% of single parent homes are led by women. Men who are in jail, a lot of them are raised by single mothers. 60% of rapists were raised by single mothers, the men who were rapists. I'll show you all these stats in just a second, but what my point is saying is that, I mean, there is a double standard. Let's just be real. There is a double standard. How men give you children, how women give you with children. It does seem like women are so okay. Do you know how when women say men are supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that, we're supposed to provide, supposed to do this and that? I think that's how women feel when men get complimented, because to society, right? Now, women will say what men are supposed to do, but society will already automatically say women are supposed to be nurturers, and when they become mothers, supposed to have responsibility, right?
Interesting.
They don't like to be perceived as what they're supposed to do, but they can easily tell us what we're supposed to do. So when a man gets complimented, then it's like, oh, well, he gets accolades and I don't get accolades. But it's like, do you really want praise for being a mother? I mean, you have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day. We both get praise, even if we don't get praise. You get
what do women say when men always do this, like for not getting enough praise? What, you want a cookie or something?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it sounds like to me this is a lose-lose situation. There is no win. And I just think that for a man to get praise in a country where we have father absence, I don't see a problem with, hey, you're being a good dad. Because what if that person who complimented that dad doesn't really see too many dads with their kids? So when he sees one, he's like, hey, that's really good. I'm glad you're in your child's life. And what if that, and then you got to think about the person. What if that person didn't have a father and they see a dad who's there in his child's life and say, man, I didn't have that, but I'm glad to see it.
Dude, not only that, what if the kids are just responding to their dad? Like, what if the children are just responding to their dad so well or so lovingly or something? Like, how does the wife know that he did exactly what she did? She wasn't there. She's being a cunt.
Or even if she is there. So let me pull up this article real quick, and now I'll jump to the TikTok videos. This is the article here. I think I could pull this up like this. It should go like this. Put us off to the side. So real quick, I want to read Savannah's comment.
Yeah.
She said, I don't think it was necessarily to shame himself. I think it's about the standard of how he's just being the father and being complimented while it's just seen as normal behavior from mothers. Totally understand that. I totally get that. But yeah, I just saw that, Nick. I just saw
you got me. Yeah.
Well,
it's not about that it was her intent to do that, and I don't think it was her intent to do that. But I think she's so self-absorbed that she didn't realize how bad of a look it is for her husband.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that. Like, it's a bad look. That makes me look like a fucking punk. My wife's punking me out on the biggest platform ever, and it went viral. Great. How is that helpful to me or us? No, You did that to be self-absorbed and selfish and to help out your fellow sisters out there that are mothers that don't get any. Whatever you did that for, that was not considering your husband's like reputation at all.
I will say, what's up, K-Train?
Yo, now it's party.
Right? I will reuse his comment, and I'm gonna read this real quick. He says that's problem. Women back in the day had no respect, and now men are treated like crap, like when women were treated. So women forget how they felt. Bless your heart, it's not Christian. So look, I think both sides obviously were treated a certain way. You know, women were treated one way at one time. Now today, men are being treated in this time. So both sides have been treated, you know, with some type of animosity. But I think in today's time, and I'm gonna keep bringing this up till I'm blue in the face. When we're in a country where we are, you know, we're America, right? Supposed to be just like, you know, home of the land of the free, home of the brave, and but yet in this country, out of all the countries and around the world, we are the country with the highest rate of children living with single parents.
Far and
And
away
so,
too. It's not even close.
right, and then also too, if you break that down to like counties and whatnot, certain counties may have a higher rate of single parenthood than other counties. But as a whole, we are the number one country with single parenthood. So again, I say that when you know, if somebody sees a dad in this child's life, I don't think there's a problem with acknowledge somebody, just give them a compliment. I mean, what is wrong with a compliment for
Do
doing
you
a
not
bare
want your husband
minimum?
to be encouraged when he's being a good father to your kids? The fuck?
Yeah.
Woman, she's
Um,
so short-sighted because of her selfish ego. Like, man, it never ceases to amaze me. Repeal the 19th, folks. If you've never heard of this movement, these women out here are voting like this. We got to get rid of that shit quick.
So I apparently this woman was talking to the Today Show. I guess she brought this up to the mainstream media, right?
Bro,
Her
he needs
name
to
is
divorce her ass if he wants to have any self-worth, respect. And again, like he's getting dragged.
so her name is Emily Belson, and it says talking to the Today Show, Belson said 3 women, 2 older and 1 in her mid 30s, stopped them in the produce department and the checkout line. They said what a great job he's doing, and that he was a great dad. There's a stereotype that both men and women tend to reinforce, which is that women are naturally better at raising children than men. Uh, Belson's own husband described the comments as nice but ridiculous, and I'm gonna speculate it does come off as more of a politically correct answer. He don't want to upset his wife. He's not like, well, listen, babe, you know, I'm the father.
So go make another fucking video and make this worse.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So and I guess the article goes on and says because these expectations, Belson found. Belson says she found motherhood to be an isolating experience at times. Once I was at Target carrying my screaming toddler and pushing my crying baby in the stroller, Belson recalled. An older couple meandered by and said, cherish every moment, it goes by so fast. You'll miss this. With this in mind, she goes out of her way to help mothers she sees in public. Um, so
Yeah.
Oh, no, but get this though. But so if she's saying that an older couple has said, cherish this moment, it goes by fast, you'll miss this, is that not like somehow it's not a compliment, but is that not a positive thing to say, hey,
It's
cherish
not
this
enough,
moment?
Julius. It's not good enough.
You know what I mean? Like isn't it interesting how it's not a direct compliment, but it's like, hey, cherish this moment, you know, like they are
It's a
gonna
pleasantry. It's a pleasantry for sure that she just
exactly
easily overlooks. She don't give a fuck. She's a cunt.
and
I know Yosef's crying in the comments because he's a cunt too, but she's a cunt.
And the article says Belson said, if I have the time and the ability to go out of my way, I'll grab something they can't reach at the store, open the door, or return their shopping cart. I like to tell moms they're doing a great job. Okay, so she tells other moms that they're doing a great job. But if you're only doing it because it's in retaliation to your husband or men who are fathers getting a compliment, then is it really being genuine, or are you just doing it because you think that mothers don't get enough? It's like, listen, again, you guys, yes, there's Mother's Day and there's Father's Day, but even on Father's Day, you'll have women try to claim that because they're single moms. I gotta play both roles.
Oh
Sometimes,
yeah, isn't that always
sometimes
funny?
men will even get complimented on Mother's Day. It's just super weird. My thing is this. Well, hold on. Before I say more, let me just go on and say real quick. So, Francine Zelster, the clinical director of psychology, training and special projects at Manhattan Psychology Group, told Today, domestic responsibilities, especially when specific to childcare, still belong to women in many households. Single mothers. No, I'm playing. Even when labor isn't physical, someone, usually the mom, has to plan to coordinate dinner, schools, pickups, and birthdays. Now, but here's what's funny about that, right? Now, when I bring it back to full screen here, here's what's funny about that. Hold on a quick. Yusuf is saying, answer my question.
Yusuf's crying about you now about something.
Answer
Yusuf, you're giving off mad beta vibes, bro. You're killing my vibe, bro. Just beta. Come on, bro.
Yeah. He said to answer his question. What?
Bro, you've written so much stuff, an endless wall of chat that we can't keep up, buddy. That's the point we're trying to make. Like when you write us a novel every post, we can't read all that shit. So we're not even reading it. Like just try to be concise if you can. If you want us to address something specific.
I don't really see his question, but his I'll read his last comment.
Listen, I used to also say calling women a cunt. You're acting like a woman by saying that I'm calling all women cunts. I called a specific woman a cunt who's being a cunt, and you, a male, which is questionable at this point how you're behaving. I also called you a cunt. So I don't discriminate. I'm not sexist. I just call cunts cunts when they're being cunts.
Base Nick over here. So his last comment was not true. He can make his wife apologize how she acted. You want her to divorce her, so because of your pride. Okay, I don't want to read this.
If he could make her apologize, she would have never transgressed like that in the first place. She would have respect for him. She don't have no respect for him. He can't make her apologize. He can't make her do shit.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and forth with the comments like that. I want to stick to what we're
talking about. Yeah, I know. I got to do a little bit of Yosef, you caught me on the raw night, bro. It's been a long week. But, yeah, don't poke the bear. Not tonight. Don't make my day.
So let's go ahead and stick to it. So, okay, so in the article, right, again, she said that she goes out of her way. She goes out of her way to compliment other moms. Now, I want to pull the article up to you, Nick, because this actually goes along with what we're talking about. There's actually an article of a guy who thinks that being complimented makes him feel like a fraud. So let me go ahead and bring that one up. It's interesting. I was actually reading it before we started the show. It's actually very interesting to me. So let me bring this up. Okay, so here is that article here. It's an article called oviahealth.com. So here's this article here, right? It says, "You're such a good dad. The very nice compliment that make me feel like a fraud." Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing. It just kind of goes in the context of like what he does with his son and things like that, right? I'm going to skip down right to where the part I saw, I was like, it's pretty interesting to me. Let me see. I think it was my point threshold. No one. Most difficult thing. Where was it at?
Man's world.
Oh, what was it? It's talking about this. What? My point is being a good dad. No one even. Okay, so again, the headline reads, "You're such a good dad." Compliment that made me feel like I'm a fraud. So right here, this is where he talks about. He says, so I'll read the first paragraph and I'll go on to this other paragraph to give more context. So he basically says, "You're such a good dad." The moms will say, "I can just tell." They can always just tell. Part of me feels like they resent their husband, however, briefly during these interactions. So,
whoa, hot take.
And he says, "My point is that the threshold for being labeled a good dad is much different than the threshold for being labeled a good mom. Men get complimented just for showing up to places like the park or a toddler gymnastics class. No one knows that I didn't even know this place existed until 9:30 in the morning when my wife emailed me in the middle of Bob the Builder, no less, with the Groupon. No one knows that she laid out his clothes for me this morning. Even know that she re-upped the diapers in the backpack that morning and threw some pretzels in there just in case one of us gets hungry. It's those small, mindful tasks that make moms like my wife so very important. Most dads, we have it easy. We're set up with first and we were set up with first and goal on the 1 yard line. All we have to do is punch it in the end zone. End zone. Yet dads get MVP awards just because they scored. So I
Julius,
find that
Julius, I don't mean to interrupt your train of thought, but before I lose her, Megan in the comments said, "Get me on here." So if we could send her a link.
Oh yeah. I got you, Megan. Yusuf's like, well, what about me? No,
We got you, Megan.
Yeah,
Megan, we got Joseph. No, I'm just kidding, Joseph. I'm busting your balls.
No, as a matter of fact, Megan actually did hit me up in the comments earlier today. So
nice.
Megan, I got you. Give me 1 second. Megan, I'm going to send you the link through Instagram. So give me 1 sec.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I'll serenade you guys. It's a man's world.
But it's not the woman. Record skip.
What the?
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me find Megan real quick.
Joseph, we'll consider bringing you on if you can promise us you won't cry like you are right now.
No, we'll
consider it, buddy, but you can't cry, okay? Please. This is the age of men, bro.
Yeah, listen. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm gonna address this right now. Yusuf, you hit me up on social media and you said, "Hey, it's been a long time." I said, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I'm be honest with you, buddy. I appreciate you, but you're begging to get on this show, and it's super awkward to get you on, knowing that you were just begging like right before. It's really awkward. I don't feel it's authentic to get you on after you're begging.
Not only that, Yosef, do you have a platform or a brand or a channel or a show or something? Like, what about you would the audience be interested in taking? You know,
Bro,
to sell yourself to us, man. Don't just demand you to bring me on. Make us want to bring you on.
He says it's not begging, but I have.
But buddy, it feels a little forced. It feels a little desperate. We haven't seen you in forever, and then you're just begging to get on the show. Just please relax,
Nick, I have the DM to prove it, bro. I have the DM to come.
No, Julius, I already know.
I'm not going to show it, but Megan.
I'm not trying to air you out either, Joseph, but we're just like saying this because it has to be addressed. Just please.
Yeah, it has to be addressed, bro. Like we try to make this professional and nuanced and not some gotcha. We don't want to do that. So, all right, what up, Megan?
Hey, you came into a shit show. Thanks for joining us right now.
What's up? You're not gonna do what I'm doing right now.
No, you're saving the show from going into the ditches. Thank you.
Wait, what?
You saved us from going off the rails. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually got to bring this up to you. It's not a lot, but when you were on our last show, that topic specifically got like over 300 views. So that's not bad.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I am carrying this podcast.
That's a fact. No one's denying that.
Calm down, Megan. Calm down.
Don't worry. I'm calm. I'm just here packaging up an Etsy order right now.
Hey Megan, can I hit you with something? We want to get your initial reaction on this. How does this shirt strike you when you first see it?
What's the context behind it? Believe them in what?
Have you ever heard the movement "Believe All Women"?
Oh yeah.
This is kind of our counterpunch to that, where we go around triggering lame weirdos like Yosef. Believe no women. They're like, oh, how can you say that? It's like, yeah, it sounds just as silly as believe all women, right? We shouldn't believe all or none. We should believe facts. And guess what? Just Pearly Things just posted "Believe No Women" on Twitter.
Oh my god,
it's catching on.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Just on a side note about that too. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I just couldn't sleep at some point, and I woke up and I was on Twitter and I saw Pearl tweet "Believe No Women." I was like, nah, bro, I gotta tweet out my response. So I took a picture of the shirt that we had and tweeted back at her, but I never got any. I posted like 10 minutes after she tweeted her tweet. I didn't get any engagement at all.
Listen, mark my words. Pearl is going to know that we came up with "Believe No Women" if I have to die trying.
Yeah,
that's happening.
My opinion on it, I mean, as a woman, it is interesting, I guess. I mean,
That's very kind.
I completely like understand like the notion and stuff, like definitely believing facts, but at the same time, I guess coming from somebody who unfortunately like has experienced a form of like, SA and who, didn't have anything done about it. Like I would more so say take, not believing all women, but like taking like, their accounts, like it's a strong consideration because I mean, from experiencing it firsthand, like we don't always get justice for, what happens due to lack of evidence, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. They're like, do you have like an audio recording? Like, yeah, I'm totally just gonna, record me getting, essay, like going on the live stream, like, hey, what's up, guys?
I hear you.
I guess like that's just more like my opinion, but I completely like understand like where like they're coming from and stuff. With like, I mean, I guess you could say like don't like, how do I say it? It's like I know like some people do make false accusations and stuff.
That's why we did it, the pushback on that kind of thing, because there's a lot of men whose lives have been ruined by that kind of thing, and then there's no legal repercussions for the women who lied. It's like kind of egregious.
As a matter of fact, I was just going to say that with your situation, Megan, I think the women that do false accusation, and so many of them, it takes away from it takes away from like your situation, like to actually
it actually minimizes like takes years out of the spotlight, which should be getting the proper attention and care.
Yeah, because like my university basically like didn't really do anything about it because of like lack of evidence and stuff. And I was like, am I just gonna naturally like be recording? It's like a lot of these situations you got to really think about. I mean, I guess the reason why some women don't receive like repercussions is because not all of them are false accusations. A lot of them like are, like for my situation, just due to lack of evidence. But because there's lack of evidence doesn't mean like it didn't happen. It just so happens to be like that. The women who do get prosecuted though, that's only if they do like a separate investigation proving that, kind of like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where like you can prove that somebody fabricated story for defamation.
Right.
I think Amber Heard ruined her chances by defecating on his bed. So
Amber Heard that woman's wild. Repeal the 19th right there.
Oh my gosh. I really wish Johnny Depp would have been there for like the last day of the trial, just so he can quote one of his lines from Pirates of the Caribbean. May you all remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. I wanted that to happen so bad. Like
that would be pretty base. That would be pretty funny if he did. And he dresses up like him too as well. That would be hilarious. That would be funny. All right, real quick. So Megan, on tonight's topic, we're talking about great moms versus great dads. Or great dads versus great moms.
And tell her why you say versus.
Right, I say versus because I saw this video on Twitter where the woman was talking about how when she goes out or when her husband goes out with the kids, he gets compliments for being a great dad, but she gets none. And so I saw other videos on TikTok from like 2020, 2021, where other women were saying like the same thing, that their husband gets recognized for being a great dad for doing the bare minimum. My pushback to that, and I understand where they're coming from because it is our job as parents to have that responsibility to do our duties, right?
Yeah.
It is our job. But I push back on that because to me, it's like in a country where we have the highest rate of children living with single parents and we have father absence, again, 80% of single parent homes are led by women. The fact that we see dads in their child's lives, I mean, me as a single dad, I've gotten compliments when my daughter was like younger. And I would take her to the store and they say, "Oh, like you're a really good dad." Like I would
asshole.
Yeah, and it's like I never asked for it. I just say thank you, because I knew in my mind, I knew that not a lot of men are in their child's life. I mean, I even kind of barely rapped about this in the song I did over Drake's beat some years ago. I was talking about how there's not dads in people's lives, essentially. So it's like that's why getting a compliment from me, I was like, I appreciate that because I am doing the best I can. I could have easily dipped out and said, I don't want to deal with this based on the fact that I chose the wrong woman to be with. But instead, I'm not going to be like that towards my child. I wasn't raised to be dismissive like that. You know what I mean? To be absent. My dad was in my life, so why would I not be in my child's life? So I guess getting a compliment.
That was definitely like what I was going to say was like my, sort of like my take on it. A lot of the times it's because like it's such a cultural norm for like the women's like take on like those responsibilities of like, being the present parent. And I was saying this in one of my classes for when it comes to like, like divorce court and custody battles, that they do tend to be, biased like towards women. So it's like, it's such a rare occasion when you see like a father having like full custody of a child. So I guess
Rare
this
occasion.
guy right here, by the way, he did it in a way that was just earned. It was just it was merited.
My take is like, obviously no family can really be successful if one parent is absent. Like, I mean, I'm a perfect example of like, well, not like example of, because I mean, I fortunately have never, experienced like growing up in like a single parent household. My parents are about to go on 30 years, which is honestly a miracle. And it's like so rare to like hear about nowadays.
All three of us have parents that are still together on this panel. That's a very odd group nowadays. Hey, let's give it up for our parents. Thanks to you guys for being
here. To the parents.
That's why we're here. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think my parents might be celebrating their 40th this year. I think. No,
they've been married longer than we've been alive, Julius.
They are going to celebrate their 40th.
They've been married before I was even born.
Yeah, me too.
That's crazy. Their 40th, bro. Well, quick, I want to address three things in the comment. Grace was relating to Megan saying, I grew up in the days without cell phones and computers everywhere. I was also a person that was assaulted. I was scared nobody would believe me, and so ashamed, I held it in for 12 years. Then again, she knew two men that ended up in prison because a woman lied. I understand both sides. Matter of fact, real quick on the side note, there's just a video that was out there I saw, I believe it was on Twitter, where the guy, his wife, made a false claim that he abused her essentially, right? And the police came and made him leave his own home. They evicted him from his home based on false allegation.
Yeah, that needs to be accountable. I really don't think it's fair to empower, like, I believe all women kind of thing, because it's like, are we trying to claim that women can't lie ever? That's really dangerous. Of course, but worse yet, you have a sweet young lady like Megan who's a legitimate victim that gets overlooked, or like she's not taken seriously when she should be because of claims like that. So that's another reason we got to rout out lying, claims of women or whoever, men if they lie too.
Yeah.
And then real quick, I want to address this comment, Yusuf. He said, so you talk about single dads, but Nick says that the man should divorce this woman. Now,
Yusuf, please get off my nuts, man. They're getting sweaty, bro.
Hold on. I'm going to be transparent. Nick and I, we have a lot of agreements, but we may not agree on everything. We may have a different perspective. So
don't hold. Nick, I'm not his wife. Don't hold him to my what I said. Like, come on, Yusuf.
Right. So Nick, and I'm sorry to speak for you, Nick, but
please do.
If I'm wrong, Nick is basically saying in this situation, if this woman is like, from Nick's perspective, if this woman is going to not boast, but post about her husband getting compliments and she's not getting any, maybe it's not shameful, but at the same time, she's putting him on blast as if it's wrong that he gets compliments. So Nick is like, if you're gonna have a female like that do that to you all over social media, divorce her. That's where Nick's coming from.
I'll tell you, it's about the most egregious thing a wife could do, if you ask me. She's literally upset and jealous and bitter and resentful of the fact that he was a good dad to her kids that she has with him when she's not around. And he's doing it so well that it's evident to others and they're complimenting him for this. This is something that you should be thankful that your spouse is doing. But instead, she's so self-absorbed and whatever else. She decides, I don't know how she justified it, but I'm going to air this out on TikTok. I'm going to air my husband out on TikTok and try to kind of shame him for this.
Don't air stuff on TikTok. Air it on Reddit, because at least you can be anonymous.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, she could have made it an anonymous situation where her husband's reputation was in the public eye, but she didn't care.
I'm always on Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit's the way to go for anonymity. But this lady wasn't concerned about anonymity. She wanted to be the star, get some attention or whatever. But yeah, can't work with that.
Sorry. There we go.
Can't work with that.
I'm trying to log in here to.
But back to what you were saying about false allegations and stuff. I would encourage men, if you are in that situation, my heart goes out to you 1000%, because those kind of women ruin it for people who actually are victims. But it's not just one of those situations where it's oh, you're proven not guilty, but no, nothing happens. The woman and stuff. You can't just expect stuff to actually happen. You sort of have to take a Johnny Depp approach and counter the woman.
You have to press charges. You have to make a case against her. Yeah, it's going to cost money and a lot of time and effort. But if everybody can do this rather than just being
If
you know what? I'm just gonna let it go.
Anything,
I'm just gonna let it go. That'd be too much of a hassle, or I don't have the money. If we all have to take a little bit of accountability.
Any cost is worth your innocence. Like,
it perpetuates outwards if you don't hold the people accountable that are falsely accusing you. You know what I mean?
It's not just gonna like happen naturally, because I mean, a lot of these cases, like nothing happens because sometimes it's not because the woman tried to like fabricate a story, but because there wasn't enough evidence to like prove otherwise. And the reason why they tend to, you know, rule in favor of the person being accused is because they know it's like, to them, it's, you know, it's a lose-lose. Either somebody's going to get, you know, falsely convicted for something and serve many years in prison, or someone's going to go through something super traumatic, no justice is served, and they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. Right. So it's like, if you are in a situation where you are being falsely accused, like you have to, you know, countersue to like prove that the person did fabricate a story. It's not just going to happen on its own, though.
You're a wise young lady. You give me hope, people like you, when I come across young people like this with a brain. It's nice.
Well, I mean, I would argue.
You're what?
Well, unlike some other women that like you see on like those, you know, podcasts, like men versus like women podcasts. I mean, I am a Christian and right leaning, so I mean, do take that into consideration.
Well, you're like a freaking unicorn out here.
Well, I would argue that Megan's generation is the Gen Z. So I'm trying to get my sound effects going here. The Gen Zs really know their stuff. Like I would argue that Gen Z is a lot. The Gen Z group, a lot of them kind of lean more toward traditional, because I think they see like the millennials and they're like, you guys are a little bit crazy. Even though you got some Gen Zs who are crazy too with their like identification and what they are today, their pronouns. You got a lot of Gen Zs who are like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that. I want to go like, you know, back to
that makeup artist Jeffree Star in one of his YouTube videos. He was like, roses are red. He's like, roses are red, violets are blue. The number of genders is only 2. And I was like,
well, it's called non-binary, right? I think the term is quite indicative of the fact there's 2. Binary. 2.
The only genders there are male, female, and idiot.
Yeah.
Let me read this last comment and I'm going to move on. Yusuf says, you're saying you're a Bible guy, right, Jules? That you follow it. You should rebuke your co-host. That's all I'm saying, because you can only divorce your wife on cheating, God says.
Now, infidelity, and if your spouse is not a believer.
Yeah, well, let me point this out real quick. So I'm going to make this clear for anybody that doesn't understand what this podcast is. I'm a Christian. Megan's a Christian. Nick, you believe in God, but you wouldn't call yourself a Christian. Am I correct on that?
I like to distinguish. I don't believe in God. I know God. It's not a belief. It's something I know. But yeah, I'm not a Christian.
Oh, no, but that's fine. But my point is that this podcast isn't a like Christian, like all the way podcast. This is just myself and Nick. We're good buddies. We're great friends. Great friends, best of friends, great people. So I mean, we know each other for years, so we came up with this podcast. So I don't have to explain. I just need to get it out there for folks to clarify, for people like Yusuf in the chat. We're 2 guys that have a lot of agreements, but we may have some different perspectives. So that's why this Age of Men podcast exists. If it was just the same all the time, it wouldn't be a great podcast. We got to have a little bit of a difference, you know, some flavor in here. You can't just be everybody quoting Bible verses, which is fine. Bible's fine. It's cool. I'm just saying there's got to be some type of flavor. So that's all I'm saying, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing there's many things, but one thing that Julius and I certainly have in common is I like to think we're both stoic. We would never get emotionally triggered on the air like we are right now, let alone if we were in the comments section just watching from the sideline. Just relax, Yusuf, bud. It's not a good look. Don't get so worked up. Calm down, buddy.
I was gonna ask like you guys' like opinions like on this. So there's this girl I follow on TikTok. Her name is Kaylee Cresta. You can see this way. You can see my DeSantis poster in the background.
Nice.
All my roommates are Republicans, and I told that to some girl.
Sanctimonious.
No, I was telling some girl how all my roommates are Republicans because I have 3 roommates, and she's like, "Must be nice." I'm like, "No, right?"
How'd you get that? How'd you manage to land that? Yeah, God's on your side.
So I saw this video, and she was talking about like, you know, the reason why they say like men are mostly like leaders and stuff is because like they're less triggered by like emotions. But she did have an interesting take, and this was like her opinion, because her like whole thing is like men and women. It's like we're both the same yet different, different yet the same. Like we obviously have our differences, but there's not that many differences if you really think about it. And she did talk about like emotions and stuff. She was talking about how, you know, like men say like women are emotional, but I can actually agree with her on this, which is kind of surprising just because like I've seen it. It's like, have you ever seen a guy punch a wall or punch a door or like kick down a door because he was angry? Have you ever seen a guy flip off someone just for, you know, cutting him off on the road?
That's a beta male. That's a man that's not stoic. He's not in control of his emotions very well. He doesn't have emotional intelligence, I would say.
But hold on though. So I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying is that I get the whole different, same, different, but there is a big difference. Like one is all physical. Women bleed, men don't bleed. Like there's differences.
There's massive differences, but to her points, is we're the same species. I think what you're trying to say, maybe Megan, and correct me if I'm wrong, is there are more similarities than differences when it comes to men and women.
Her point, I think so, yeah. But her point is so like if you really think about it, men and women, like this is where like she says her point, like why we're the same, and then she says her points like where we're different. She says men and women, if you really think about it, are equally just as emotional. Where we become different is like which emotion we tend to, you know, enhance more. Like with women, you could see us like being more emotional when it comes to like, you know, being sad and stuff, being heartbroken, like crying over stuff. With men, you could see it more like when they're angry, like how they handle like anger, like raising their voice and all that stuff.
That's an interesting point. I like that. Yeah.
Which, of course, every time I see a guy punching down a door or like flipping off somebody just for cutting them off, I'm like, okay, that's just me when I'm like driving and someone cuts me off. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like
that's the sweet femininity that we need more of in this world.
And
okay, no problem. Sorry.
And the other one was this, and this happened in the fall semester. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is like the hashtag Me Too movement right now. Where some guy, like he was trying to like be persistent and he was like trying to like, you know, he tried to like walk me back to my place, like from a turning point meeting and stuff. Like I didn't want him walking me home. Like I wasn't interested in him and stuff. Like I didn't want him like knowing where I lived. And it got to the point where he called me like so many different names, all because I wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, beta.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a beta male to me, because to me, men like that are definitely, if you can't control your anger and you lash out because of woman, you can't walk a woman home and she rejects you walking her home.
Yeah.
You B word, you C word, whatever the case may be. That's definitely a beta male. I do think that men who do get angry, that anger does come from somewhere. It's like a deep rooted trauma that it comes from growing up, maybe not having the dad, maybe the mom on drugs, whatever the case may be. It allows them to take over when they
grew up as a golden child, where they got everything they wanted, or they were like overly hyped up as a child. And what I mean by that is like they grew up with parents like always, you know, like complimenting them, telling them like you're the best out there and all that stuff, which obviously, I mean, that's good as like a parent and stuff, but it has to come with like a little bit of, you know, realistically, you could better yourself. Like,
yeah, no, you're not the best, but you could be if you worked hard. That's the right message, if you ask me. You're not the best inherently. You have to work hard to be good at things and be good in this world. So
I just grew up with the notion of like, you know, whoever, you know, isn't nice to you, whoever doesn't like you, they're not going to be the first. They're not going to be the last. Just deal with it.
The more successful you become, the more people become jealous and hate. The more haters you're going to
get. Another thing I always live by is like the moment you stop taking everything like so personally is when you realize how much easier life is. Like when you stop taking everything like so personally and stop having like that mindset, like the world is always like against you in something, and that chances are like whatever you're going through, other people have been through it too. And the best thing to do in that situation is like talk to those people to know that you're not alone. Also, I'm stamping.
Stamping, you said? Like literally taking a stamp with ink and.
Yeah, I'm like stamping like tissue paper right now, so I can wrap up a pair of ears. The worst pair of ears is my most popular one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a Florida State Seminole.
No, you've been doing that for quite some time though. It's like 2 or 3 years, right?
For 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, right on. And it's going well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it is my only like source of income right now, just because of like my college schedule. I don't really have like a flexible schedule where I can be super reliable, like working at like a Chick-fil-A or something. So I decided to, you know, take my craftiness, you know, and bring it to Etsy and I sometimes like go like a month without like receiving orders, but then it's like during May I got like 8 orders in like 1 week, which for me it is a lot to take on just because I mean I am a full-time, college student who's about to graduate pretty soon.
Hey, that's a good problem to have, right? Too many orders you can't keep up.
Love profiting off of UF students.
Nice. Based. Amazing.
What does UF stand for? Wrong answers only.
Ultimate funds.
University of Felons.
Unlimited funding.
University of Felons.
Nice.
Because who went there? Mike Pouncey.
Ugly faggots. I'm sorry.
Mike Pouncey. Aaron Hernandez. Who else?
Wait, Aaron Hernandez is an alumni of your school?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he went to UF. Remember?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's not a claim to fame.
Everybody,
you're right.
If everybody like from Tim Tebow's, like anybody who's on like the football team, like UF, whenever Tim Tebow was the quarterback, Tim Tebow's like one of like only 5 people from that team who didn't get arrested. So they're the University of Felons.
Nice.
Can I just? I know Yusuf made comments in the most, but it brings a conversation. So I'm gonna read this comment real quick.
Yeah, Billy's all day, man. I'm out here.
He says, I get mad because men think they can change the world. But Jules, when you live stream with me and Max, we show you what I mean. I'm not desperate at all. I'm sick of men hating women. And I'm going to address that real quick. Having an opinion about a woman doesn't mean you hate them, because that's the case. And that's the same thing as Jews saying you're anti-Semitic because you question the Holocaust, or you say, hey, maybe Hitler wasn't so bad, or something like that. There's nothing wrong. Like, we're in America. We have a right to free speech, whether you're wrong or right. We have a right to say it. So saying that, men hating women, what is hate? Like, what is to hate women? Is it because we have an opinion and we're talking about thing? Because Nick said,
we never even said all women. It's one woman that did a egregious act, which, by the way, I would argue a guy like Yusuf who tries to overlook that and dismiss it and pretend like it's no big deal, and I'm the jerk for calling it out as being the egregious thing it is. You're the problem, man. You're the betas in this world that have allowed it to run amok. Just simping to these women, catering. You believe all women, Yusuf. You would wear a believe all women t-shirt. Now I got your peg type character we're dealing with. See, you don't hold women accountable for anything, and you're the problem in society, man.
Well, according to what he was saying earlier, he was saying that woman who on the video, and I want to get back to that conversation because I don't want to deviate so much, but he was talking about how the wife, rather than Nick suggesting, mind you, Nick saying he should divorce him doesn't mean you're going to reach out to that guy and start handing him papers to divorce. He's just giving his opinion. So, but what Yusuf is saying is just, that the woman did that. She should repent, whatever the case, rather than divorce, because he don't believe in divorce, which is fine. But this podcast is just our opinions along with facts. Don't take it as personal. Like, Nick's gonna really reach out to that guy and be like, "Hey, man, she put you on TikTok. I got papers for you, buddy. I'll be over there in a second." Click. It's not.
Well,
like
you know what
that.
it is.
The conversation.
Yusuf apparently puts so much stock in strangers on the internet's opinions, like he's doing right now, that he thinks other people do too. So he thinks that somehow I could end up influencing these people. But Yusuf, buddy, people don't get so worked up about strangers on the internet like you do, buddy, and you shouldn't either. Yeah. That's not a good approach to life.
He's saying bring me on, and I'm not going to bring you on. You said because again, I just said 2 seconds ago, I don't want the conversation to deviate so much. I'm not going to sit here and start going Bible. I don't want to do that, bro. I get it. You're a Christian. You love the Bible.
Not even that, Julius. I don't want to savage this guy on the air. I don't want him to make me do that because I will do that. It's not that I use it, and I will do it, buddy, happily. Just please, relax.
I agree with you, Nick. I don't want to bring him on and then deviate to something totally different. I want to stick to this subject because I didn't pull all this articles and videos up for no reason, just to waste them. So I want to get back to what we were talking about.
Absolutely.
Great dads versus great moms. So let's get back to the conversation. And if you want to be here, just get out of here. JLP says, get out of here.
No one's got a gun to your head. You know what I mean? You can leave. You don't just click the button in the top right corner. They'll let you out of here.
So here's the video I was talking about. I want to bring this up. This is a video that I was telling you, Nick, why I had this objective when it came to
objection. You mean? Are you talking about?
Well, I had this objection as far as the dad getting praise and whatnot, about seeing men on the bare minimum. Hopefully the video pops up. I don't know why it's not popping up. Do you see it?
No, nothing.
It's not popping up for some weird reason. Hold on. Let me just pull this up. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. My fault. I just shared the screen.
I do that all the time. I'm like, oh wait, I didn't push the button.
Yeah. Okay, so here's that video here. Yeah. So her caption reads, "For real though, I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to problem solve here, and I got nothing. My husband is an amazing father and should be praised for that, but not because he takes care of our kids' basic human needs." So here's what she has to say.
Bro.
Oh, hold on a second.
I hate her, Julius. I hate this woman.
Where is the
volume? Yeah, there we go.
I hate her guts.
Oh my God! The sound keeps on
coming. Taking turns taking them to the restroom, cutting up their food, that sort of thing. There's an older couple about 2 booths back. They get it.
Hold on, I gotta run this back because the volume kept on cutting out.
Taking turns taking them to the restroom, cutting up their food, that sort of thing. There's an older couple lunch on Sunday. We're doing the exact same thing, mind.
There we go.
So my husband and I take the kids out to lunch on Sunday. We're doing the exact same thing, mind you, taking turns taking them to the restroom, cutting up their food, that sort of thing. There's an older couple about 2 booths back. They get up to leave. The man stops at our table and says, "You are such a good dad." My husband says, "Thank you." The man moves along. I am about as far away from this man as I am to you right now. He doesn't even acknowledge my existence. And you know what? I don't need the praise. And I think that's where people are missing the point. Moms don't need the praise. It's the double standard that is so exhausting, irritating. The bar for dads is on the floor. And I was right there. It's not like my husband took him to the grocery store and has told you're a great dad. Meanwhile, if I do that, I'm told I have my hands full, which doesn't exactly bother me because it's true.
Listen to this guy. He's giving me a headache.
What is it? And he is a great dad, but not because he's feeding his child. That's basic human needs. And we got to figure out a solution. I'm coming up with nothing. I don't want to complain. I want to problem solve. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do about it?
We're going to stop flexing up like a man and talk like a man, giving us all a headache. That's the first step.
We're going to post on Reddit from now on.
Yeah, great pro tip.
Reddit for the win.
If you respect your husband at all. Yeah.
So she says, my stomach's like literally itchy for some reason. I got this like scar now. Golly.
So what I hate about that? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, so she says that it doesn't bother her, but again, she's on TikTok talking about, we don't need praise. But then
it sounds pretty bothered.
We're all going to say you complain that your husband got the compliment and you're right there across and you don't get anything. But why do you want that? Like, you say you don't need it, but then you go on TikTok and complain about it. So what's really your problem? What is so wrong with a man getting complimented? This is what I don't understand. They'll say he's an amazing dad and he should get praised for it. She says that in her caption, but then in the video she's like, "I'm right there and they say nothing to me." But then you say Julius, he should get praised. It's like,
I think I figured this out. Not only is that so egregious about her.
Wait. Sorry, I'm going to quote Myron Gaines.
No, I'm not hearing you cutting out. My bad. I didn't mean to talk over you, boss.
No. I was going to quote Myron Gaines. I was going to say women say one thing, but their actions are always different. So her caption reads, "Men should get praised," but then she's like, "I'm right there across from him. Why is I'm not getting praised?" So that's all I want to say.
Dude, it's so crazy because like that alone is egregious right up front. Like your husband is being a good father to your guys' kids when you're not around, to the point that strangers are noticing and complimenting you on this. This is something you should be happy about and grateful for as a mom, a wife and mom. Yeah. Instead, not only that, she's not grateful, she's resentful. But this is the part. I think I've got it figured out here. If they truly are doing the exact same acts and she's not getting praised, and nice girl, and he is, I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the very attitude that we just witnessed in that clip that is so off-putting and it's scary, frankly, to some people, that you would just as soon not give her a compliment even if you wanted to. You would just not engage her. You don't engage crazy bitches like that because it's almost certain she's going to be a crazy cunt to me. You know, it's like she's not going to receive it with grace and be like, "Oh, thank you so much." She's going to be like, "I know. I'm a mom, and I just thank you for telling me. Nobody ever tells me."
I feel like I guess because this is like the psych major, in me coming out right now.
Oh, I forgot you're a psych major, dude. Julius, this is an asset. We're going to bring her on more often, folks.
and poli-sci too.
Oh my gosh. Are you a psyop? That's too good to be true.
He's an industry plant Industry.
No, I was telling that. Well, I'm gonna be really candid. So I went on a date yesterday, and I told him I was doing psychology and poli sci. He's like, "Oh, okay, you're really smart. Didn't know that." I'm like,
Hey, is there going to be a second date?
there might be.
All right.
And he's very right wing. I literally said, because he was saying something, I'm like, "So you're a Republican?" He's like, "Yep, I'm pretty right wing." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus."
Yeah, you take a big sigh of relief. Yeah.
It was the funniest thing ever. But wait, where was I getting with that? I'm trying to remember.
Well, you're on a date. So you're on a date.
Oh,
it went well. He might get a number 2, very possibly. It sounded good.
So because he asked me like what major I was, and I told him I was doing psychology and poli sci. He was like, "Okay, smart queen." I'm like, I'm not smart. I just turn in my assignments on time.
Well, you're motivated. I like it.
Hold on. He said, "Okay, smart queen." Notice how she said, "I'm not smart," but then acknowledged the queen part. So you're okay with being called the queen, but you're gonna say, "I'm not smart."
I guess because like that's something like I would say. It's like I knew where he was like what he was like getting at when he's like, "Oh, so like you're really smart doing like those 2 majors side by side." I'm like, no, I just turn in my assignments on time because psychology is such a difficult major. It might seem easy in the beginning, but when you take those 4,000 level courses, which you would take during like your senior year of college, it'll make you want to switch out.
I don't want to ruin your rain on your parade, but be careful with that too, because he's like, "Oh, you're really smart." Men will say things to try to get into your pants. "Oh, you're really smart." Men don't care a look about your education.
He didn't even hold my hand yesterday. So I'm not going to jinx it. I mean, knock on wood. There was a lot of green flags. So
really? Like
it went
what? Like what? Give us one.
Yeah, well, what is a green flag? According to women, according to you, what is a green flag to you?
Keep in mind, this is coming from like a standard like college students. Not like that. But like, how do I say it? So like, he did not let me touch a single door or a single chair. He literally paid for everything, even when I offered to pay, just because like naturally like in me like I always feel bad if someone like pays for me and stuff. Like that's just natural tendency, especially since it was like our first like date and stuff. He's like, "Oh no, you're not paying for anything," and like I was like, I only got 1 hug.
Oh, you wanted more affection. See, young men. Look, this is revealing. If you ask me, this is very revealing of the young psyche of the ladies, because you guys are so scared and off-put in beta right now that you're not even approaching women. I understand it. I'm not even trying. I'm trying to shame you guys into acting. Listen to her right now. She was disappointed he didn't make enough moves, guys.
I guess where I'm getting at.
I see it differently, Nick. I see it totally differently.
Okay.
The way I see it is, I guess because of like how like my past experiences like have been with just like how like guys are. It was very, very different. Like I was like, "Oh, so you aren't trying to like lure me to anything? You're not trying to, Well, thank you, Jesus."
Well, okay. So you said that he gave you like a hug, but you kind of wanted a little bit more, right?
Not that I wanted more. It was more of like based on like
yearned for it.
Well,
like,
I mean,
I guess it's like the way I would say it, or the way I would word it is like based on like past experiences, like it wouldn't be so uncommon, and then it would be like, "Oh,
that puts it in a different context then.
Yeah.
Did you want more, or were you expecting him to do more, is what you're saying?
From past experience, I was expecting.
But you didn't necessarily desire for it yourself? Or you did?
I don't desire it and stuff because I mean, I'm a Christian, but it was
okay, we're just making sure we're on the same page.
It's such a let's just say like it was such a recurring like trend and stuff, and that's usually like where I give a guy the axe and stuff. Like, this isn't going to work.
So you were just coming to expect it because that's how other men have treated you. I got you.
Yeah, and that's how guys normally are in college, but like he didn't. So I was like,
okay, so he's saying that he was polite and respectable at least. Like he's not like he wasn't trying to like make a move on you, but you would have liked it if he like was a little bit more affectionate. And the reason why I asked that is because this is only the first date, and it sounds
not that I was like wanting it, but I guess it's like after a while from experience like the same things over and over again, or like a recurring trend in college guys, I expected that, but it was kind of like refreshing that like this was different. So I was like,
Well, I always say, I mean, I'm sure you are, both male and female should vet, because statistically they say that women in college, not you, but women in college and men too, that they're a lot more promiscuous because it's college and whatnot. Matter of fact, there's a video that was just out on Instagram where in the dorms, this woman was filming her next door neighbor, and I guess she was like loud and having sex, like it's really, really loud, and they were filming this. And I'm like, you should mind your own business. Like, why? I get they're loud and you don't like that. Just knock on the door and say, hey, hi.
Wait, who was filming it? Who was filming it?
The college, the female. So this is a college dorm, and the woman, the student, was filming the noise coming from inside the room. And I'm like, and there's like multiple girls, like all like, and I'm like, why don't you just knock on the door? Like, why do you have to film this and put it out there and expose the person that's in the room? Like go mind your business. Like, if they're loud, okay, it's maybe not good to be loud like that. If people trying to sleep and got to go to school, go knock on the door. Why film that? To me, it sounds like I'm just being facetious here. It's like it sounds like you want that. Like you wish that was you in that room. Like, oh my god, it's so loud. I gotta film this.
Right. If you're so upset about it, how about you step out of earshot of it and stop filming it?
Right.
They wanted to go viral on TikTok.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and to me, like, they come off like they're trying to be all same. Like, I don't like this, but yet you're just as degenerate as the ones who are doing it before marriage. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're showing that they're having sex. That's insane. But I mentioned all that to say that in colleges, that's how it are. Men and women tend to be a lot more promiscuous. So for your instance, for your situation, let's just say, just vet that man. Like, really, really vet him. Don't expect too much at a time. Really vet that dude. If he tried to pull something on you, you let him know, like, hey, I'm not with this. I want to wait until marriage. If he's like,
I'm a member of the NRA. Works every time.
I'm like, what?
I'm a member of the NRA. Works every time. My dad's a veteran. When my father passes away, his whole gun safe is being left to me.
He's all me too. What are you trying to say? So we doing this or not? I'll show you my guns. You show me yours.
He's like, this is my me too. Pulls out a second gun.
No, he'll pull out his muscles, thinking like that's what I mean, or that I'm like joking and stuff. I'm like, cute.
Yeah. If he's if he's being nice now and he tries to like make a move, like you'll know. But again, just vet that. Like, don't allow him to get like too close. You know what I mean? Like,
what are the odds you could get him to come on right now with you, and we'll help you guys out in your young budding relationship potential.
Another green flag. He was dressed very nice. I know sometimes like college guys, they don't really try to like, dress to impress. If that
and
makes
dress
sense.
nice to you as a young woman would be what? Just like and I'm honestly asking, just so that the young men or men in general can have insight into how you guys look at this. Or you.
So, like, I mean, he had his hair gelled. He had like a button down like shirt, it was like tucked in and stuff. Basically, like, he looked very put together.
Business casual, but certainly business put together. Gotcha.
Business. I don't want to say business casual, but it's like, so we went to like a restaurant and stuff that was like outdoors and stuff. Just because, like,
his hair gelled, he looked put together, so he's professional is maybe a better word. Is what I was trying to say, like sophisticated, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's like, should I just like sketch out like his whole outfit, like he was wearing?
No, get him to come on the podcast with us right now.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do that. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to make you.
We'll get Ricky.
Tell him he'll get a fair shake at the age of men. We're all for men.
Let me ask you this. Have you guys ever experienced? Cause I don't want to deviate from the conversation I'm trying to have. I want this main topic to be about that. Yeah. No offense. Interesting stuff, but I know I kind of contributed too. But let me ask you this: have you guys ever experienced your father's getting kind of compliments at all? Like, you ever experienced that, or you ever heard your mom complain about it at least? Like, oh, I do this, and the husband gets complimented for that. You ever had that experience before?
No.
Go ahead, Megan. You first. No.
No.
Honestly, it's a rare thing. It's not enough, I would say, for what he deserves.
I grew up in I grew up in a Christian household. Like, I grew up like within a Christian community and stuff where it was very normal for, kids to have, two parents present. But it wasn't so much like shaming, or like always giving compliments like one. Because obviously like things happen and, some people like are raised like by single parents, and we don't really ask about like the situation stuff because it's not really like our place to ask, but it's more.
But did your dad compliment your mom a lot more than he was getting from her? Maybe. Just asking.
Not if I was there. No.
So you didn't see it from him to her either. It was equal from both. Minimal.
The closest thing I would say to that was like they both got complimented for like whenever it was there. Me and my sister like had like award assemblies, and me and my sister like got awards and stuff. Like when I got like my senior.
No, but I mean, your mom complimenting your dad, or your dad complimenting your mom. Was there one that did it more than the other, or were they both kind of not doing it to each other that much, or what?
They would compliment like for other things, but not things that you would normally look at from the outside looking in as like that's something every parent should be doing. If they ever compliment each other, it was for stuff like outside of it.
How about just in general, like compliments ratio? Who gave more compliments to who?
Like,
does dad compliment mom more, or mom compliment dad? Generally,
it was pretty equal. It was a pretty equal amount, just because like they don't normally do that. I guess it's because they've been married for so long.
It's kind of goes unspoken. I got you.
Yeah, I would say
it must be nice to have that kind of relationship, huh, Julius? Someday.
No, I was gonna say it's about the same for me. My parents never had to like brag about it, but they definitely showed it on birthdays. Like my dad would definitely show my mom how much. I mean, them spending time with each other every single day was their show of compliments, but it definitely showed on birthdays and anniversaries and things like that. It definitely showed a lot. I never heard my dad get complimented before. It's funny because this wasn't a thing when I was growing up, but for me, being a single dad, I heard compliments. Like I remember people were approaching me like in the grocery stores, and being like, "Oh, is this your daughter?" And I said, "Yeah." "Oh, she's so beautiful." And it's like, are you in her
You're
life?
Like, I did that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh gosh, that sounds weird to say that loud. but yeah, my mom like Joe Biden. I did that.
I actually have the I did that gas station stickers.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'll post them. Funny.
Because I just thought about this. I guess because like the reason why like if there was like a single dad like getting more compliments and stuff, I guess because like based on just like society and stuff and just like norms, it is like such a. I can like even my grandmother, like my grandparents would say this because my grandfather before he married my grandmother, he was a single dad to like his 2 kids and stuff. But let's just say it's like such a rare occasion, and it's like so rare that a father gets full custody. Like the mother would have had to have done something super, super like terrible to like not have custody at all, or the mother would be dead. So it's like.
What is that music? Where's that coming from?
Oh, it's my phone. I'm getting a spam call.
I thought Julius was playing a sound effect or something. I thought he was like making fun of you or something.
Don't worry, it's just a spam call on my phone. It's just a spam.
It was that guy calling her. No,
dude, pick up.
Let's see. It says scam likely from Key West, Florida.
I always get those calls too. What's up, Nikki?
Hey, Nikki's in the house.
So real quick, I'll speak on my situation just on that and why I was able to not pay child support. The reason why for me, why it lent to my favor was because at the time of the court, she took me to court. My daughter's mother took me to court to try to get child support. She thought that I was going to be there, even though I was there when my daughter was born. Like, I was there. I wasn't going to dip out at all, but she tried to take me for child support only because we fought a lot. When we went there, I talked to the mediator and I told them that I have the CD. I brought the CDs. Like, it was like a stack of CDs like this that I had with me. And I was like, on this CD is her making threats about how she was going to take my daughter and move to a different state. And I got all this evidence.
Julius don't play it, people.
Yeah, well, because we used to fight a lot. And she used to always make these like kind of threats and whatnot. And so I said, no, from now on, we just start recording the phone call because since we're having this child and she's trying to like do crazy stuff, like lead to a different state, that's messed up to take my child away from me. So I started recording the calls. So by the time I went to court and I showed them, it was like they took it into consideration. And so when the judge came out, I was on one side, she's on the other. The judge pretty much said, he asked her, he goes, "Are you able to work?" She said yes. If she would have said no, like I have a disability, that would have made me pay child support. But because she said yes, he said, well, in that case, because you can work, I don't gotta pay child support, essentially. Like, to paraphrase, no, I gotta pay child support.
Julius, I bet you were like, yeah, she slipped up.
No, because like the look on her face, I could just tell it was just like the effort. I see the effort.
She
like,
never saw that, dude. She never saw that verdict coming.
Right, like for me, like in my mind, I'm all like dancing, like.
Dude, Julius, you're doing the guy like from Maury. He is not the father.
Yeah, I know.
Maury. Well, I'm pretty sure like outwardly, I'm pretty sure outwardly, like you weren't showing that you were trying to celebrate because like if your daughter was in there, because like part of it is like learning the psychology of like how kids view a lot of things. Like if you would have like started like
she was a baby at the time, like she was like in the little she would have known what was going on.
Julius, did she start crying or something? How she?
No, it was just like she was stunned. Like she was stunned that
she never saw it coming, Julius.
Because her first baby dad, he got child support, and so
he's probably still paying her to this day.
Well, he died.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, he did.
Women want money. Don't baby trap them. Don't bring children into the world and into those situations. If you need money, start an Etsy shop. Profit off of your talent.
I'll tell you, what a great young lady you are. Let's tell them. Louder for the folks in the back.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, so I was able to do that. But the thing was like I never had it in my mind, even with all the fighting that we did, it never rang a bell to say I need to leave like my child. Do you know what I mean? And I was just never brought up like that. I made the wrong mistakes in how I went about having a child, but I don't regret having a child. That makes sense.
Yes.
So I never. That's one thing I never regret because
every child's a gift from God.
Yeah, she's fantastic though. Like she's base at times, and then there are times she kind of has like liberal moment, but she's pretty base.
But dude,
like
she's impressive for how young she is, how based some of her positions are.
Yeah,
everybody's when you're young, you're a liberal because it's an ideal that you're not aware enough yet to realize that it can't ever be real. It can't come into the real world out of the ideal. So of course you want everybody to be free housing and free this, that. You don't realize that nothing's free. Things need to be produced by somebody and given to somebody else until you start to get older.
There's no such thing as like something like being for free.
Right.
Like topic of like being of like free is like nothing's for free. It just means you're not paying the tab this time.
Well, somebody produced it and is not going to be able to use it. It's going to be taken off of them and given to you. There's nothing that comes out of nowhere.
That's great. Okay, so I know.
What'd you say?
Grace said, "Amen to that, Megan."
Okay, so no, I'm sorry. Like I sort of like got off topic. I mean, I just had to like put that in there because like it was relevant to like.
You better be.
No,
care. This is great.
No, but this is actually a great point to bring up because even if we're not talking about like married husbands and wives, even with single dads and single moms, again, there was this article I was reading. I forget what it was talking about, but it was basically saying like the differences between single moms and single dads. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up real quick so we can kind of talk about it because I think it's very interesting to me. Single dad versus single mom, and I also
the stats are fascinating with that.
Well, so look, I also want to bring this up too as well. Let me bring this up real quick. There's two articles I want to bring up. One was stats on fatherhood. It comes from fatherhood.org. So give me 1 sec to pull this up, and I'll share the screen. Give me 1 sec.
The source for father stats.
So
no, it has good stats.
Yeah, sounds like it. The name's good. Go ahead, Megan. What were you saying, huh?
Like what I was saying about like, me sort of like understanding the psychology. It's like part of it is like understanding like both sides of it. I could understand her frustration. He's getting, she's more so like frustrated at the fact that like he's getting praise for something like
it's a double standard. Yeah.
He's more so like expected to do because I mean it's such a cultural norm for like women to like be like cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children, and a lot of times don't get praised for it. Another reason why a lot of women feel like they do have to like, get like careers and stuff to feel valuable is because a lot of them do hear like you don't pay bills, like you don't like do all that stuff, sort of like undermining like what their role is. But so I do understand like her frustration, like him getting praised for something like she has to do every day. But I also understand like the other side.
But that's
think about it. Does she praise him every day for going to work? No, he probably just silently does that for her. So both sides have double standards that aren't exactly beneficial, but
I'm not,
You know,
I'm not really talking about like, you know, them complimenting each other, more so like, you know, receiving like compliments from other people, like him getting complimented from like some complete stranger for something she has to do like every single day. But I guess also at the same time, like for men, the reason why like they would get complimented more, like from my perspective, is like seeing how, you know, like we've all seen like how custody battles, you know, are, they tend to mostly rule in favor of the women. So it's like, it's naturally such a rare occurrence to see like a man, like, you know, taking on like full custody, doing all those like roles that naturally like a woman would be doing. It's like,
and so you're saying society really is happy when they see that, so they go out of their way to like maybe give them a compliment or something.
Because naturally, like it's pretty normal. Unfortunately, it's really sad to like seeing it be like normalized nowadays for like, you know, fathers to like mainly be like absent or hands off when it comes to like, you know, parenting. Yeah. But like to a lot of people, like it should be considered a norm. I mean, to me, like what I think like should be considered a norm is having, you know, two parents who love each other, you know.
I'm with you, but Megan, as a psychologist study, could you maybe admit that there's a very high likelihood that perhaps it's the demeanor that this woman is projecting outward to the world that is not yielding her people feeling very welcome to come in and maybe talk to her or something? Give her a compliment she's going to receive in grade.
If she really wanted like help from like outside people, she should have just gone to Reddit and like did like one of those like anonymous like throwaway.
Thank you. That's my biggest grievance. She aired her husband out so bad.
I always like, I put myself to sleep by listening to those like Reddit compilations on YouTube. And it's like,
some of those are cool.
You can put it in a throwaway account, receive the same type of advice without exposing your identities. Like everyone should just go on Reddit.
But this is what I mean now. Well, this is what I mean is that we talk about how the dad gets complimented because she's doing the exact same thing, right? But I was telling Nick earlier, it's interesting because they'll say that they'll say that men are supposed to have these father duties. They're supposed to. Like, we're always supposed to, or we should be. But then it's like the women gets bothered by the fact that we get the compliments, almost like she wants it, when yet it's her motherly duty to do the exact same thing. So what is it really? Is it that it bothers you that you get that he gets compliments, or does it bother you because you want compliments to validate your motherhood when it's the thing that you're supposed to be doing? So even though he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, he can't control the actions of others. It's not like her husband going around and saying compliment me. He's just doing what he normally does. But people are
he's inviting him more somehow, whether it's better behavior, better parenting, better approachability, like being perceived by someone. There's something going on there, lady, where you should be self-critical and address the fact that she's upset that her husband's getting praised for being a good dad to their kids when she's not around by strangers. It's like the most egregious thing in my mind. Like, dude, that woman is so upside down, ass backwards. It's like,
I guess also it does come from like just from seeing it. I can tell like it's not so much. It's one of those things where like the issue itself doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's more so like the principle of the matter. I can tell deep down like it's not really about like her wanting to like receive like compliments and stuff. It's more so like she's doing the exact same thing like every single day.
It's a double standard that she's not benefiting from. She's not happy about the double standard.
She feels like underappreciated because like that's what I was saying. Like there's some women who like have husbands who like she does her motherly roles, like she cooks, you know, she cleans, like she takes care of the children, takes care of the house, and then like she doesn't really get that much like, you know, like appreciation.
I get it. I understand her grievance. She's not getting the same praise and notice for doing the same job day in and day out.
Since we're talking about like TikToks and stuff, this one woman, she told me, or she didn't tell me, she was telling TikTok. I was just watching the TikTok that her husband said like she doesn't do like anything around the house, like, or like all she does is, you know, cook, clean, and all that stuff. Like, how hard could it be? So she went away for a bit, and like the husband saw like, you know, the house wasn't clean. There was no like, you know, home cooked meal and stuff. Like he had to constantly like either, you know,
he realized he was taking her for granted, basically.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like women's like jobs, like even though like this is why a lot of women like don't like the whole idea of like, you know, being like a homemaker and stuff, because it's such like a role that like it's very very valuable, but it's also like very taken like for granted too. Like a lot of us like don't look at it like as like a real job and stuff, because like we're not, like the difference between like, you know, a man's role and a woman's role like traditionally is like, it doesn't mean like just because like she's not like having like a job outside the home, it doesn't mean that she's not working. It just means she's not getting paid for what she does.
She's doing the most important job on earth. She's making a nurturing environment, aka our home, for not only my peace of
Yeah.
mind when I get off work, but my kids to grow up in a healthy environment to be best off. The most important job on earth. I like that, Megan, that you mentioned that, because I think we need to start acknowledging that more and praising the stay-at-home house mother homemaker role more. They get demeaned, if anything. They're never praised. It's like made out to be like a slave class or something.
Yeah.
That's the most important job on earth.
My mom had to go to a teacher conference like 4 hours away from home. And so like my dad had to, you know, take me to school and all that stuff. He had to help me with homework. This is whenever I was in elementary. So he sort of like saw like the role, like, you know, like what my mom does. And, you know, that on top of that, you know, having to work, because I mean, you realistically, you cannot live and like provide well for a family on just a single income unless you're like Elon.
You're right. Statistically, you cannot nowadays. You need 2 incomes mostly.
Another thing, when he gets home and stuff, or even when they're on vacation, like a woman's job isn't ever really done. Like her job is to, you know, like, take care of the house, like take care of children. So like if you really think about it, her job is never really, you know, up until like, you know, the child moves out or like she's by herself. So like
she's on call 24/7, and anytime that call could come in, it could be very serious for her and the family and her kids. And it's very thankless, and that's why I love that you bring this up, because I think we need to start highlighting that position more.
My dad praising it. My dad sort of had like a newfound like respect like for it, because even though like he works a 9-to-5 job, you know, her job as a mother like is never really done. So he gained a lot more appreciation. And this was not even like her trying to prove to him like a point. It was just she was, you know, because she was a school teacher and stuff, she had to go for like a conference and stuff. And he sort of had to like take over the role of, you know, mom. And
he's like, you've been doing all this time? Holy shit, I'm taking you.
I'm married a badass. That's literally what he said.
No, I get it. That's pretty cool.
Especially, keep in mind, I was never a bad child, but I can really annoy the heck out of my parents sometimes. So it's like, they always make the joke, like, Megan, if you would have been the firstborn child, you would have been the only child. I'm like,
yeah. My brother's that way. My parents say the same
thing. And then I roasted my sister, and I was like, why wasn't I the firstborn? And my sister was like, love you too, Megan.
What were you, like a brat? Yeah.
I saw this TikTok video. It's like, every family has that one child who has a terrible dating life, has trouble saving money, which that's not entirely true. Like,
yeah, it sounds like.
It's like they're basically saying like everything that would naturally be like a second-born child, but it's like, but at the same time, I'm also the one who my parents would describe. Keep in mind, my sister's very smart too. She's a nurse, but it's like she's very hardworking. She's very, very smart. She's a go-getter and all that stuff. So it's like, but yeah, I definitely gave my parents a run for their money when they had me.
Hey, has you ever got any advice? And then I want Julius to take over with any thoughts, because he's been doing it since he's really talked. But has your mother ever given you any profound advice on becoming like a mother or a wife or something someday? Like, you ever remember her ever like advising you on how to go about that? Because it sounds like she's in a successful marriage.
I guess it's like once you have a child, it's no longer like about yourself and stuff. A lot of things like parents aren't going to get like praised for, because a lot of the things like I hate it when parents says like, we clothed you, we fed you, we housed you. I'm like, that's literally the bare minimum. If you didn't do one of those 3 things, Child Protective Services would literally be at your door and the child would be in foster care. Like, I think that's something we all have to like acknowledge. Like, providing for a child is until they're 18 is like a bare minimum. Otherwise, you know, CPS would.
But do you know why parents say that? I mean, coming from a parent, you know why parents say that is because.
I mean, it's one thing if like a child's like bratty and stuff, but I guess like there's more to like being a parent than just like providing for a child, but it's also like you have to like uplift them, you know, motivate them to, you know, be the best person.
But don't forget, this guy's a parent. From what I can tell, he's a pretty successful one of them, like a 16-year-old.
I can speak on that. I can tell you exactly why. Because my parents would say the same thing to me when I was younger. You know, they said these things like, you know, we put roof over your head, clothes on your back, and when you're younger, you don't want to hear that, because like in your mind you're thinking, well, you're a parent, you're supposed to do that. But the thing is, it's like it almost makes you come off as ungrateful. Like, you're supposed to give me all these things, when in reality, it's not so much what we give you, it's what we're preparing you for. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know how to prepare yourself when you get older, you're gonna end up on the streets. You know what happens then? Drugs, crime.
Well, to Megan's point earlier too, man, you don't want to spoil them, because then they're not prepared either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not encouraging like spoiling a child, but I guess like outside of that, there's so much like more like, you know, being a parent. Like, one of them was also like my parents like encouraging me to like, you know, focus on school, but also like have, you know, like side hobbies and stuff, because
Yeah, but how about your mom advising you on being like a wife or mother? Anything you can recall?
Men are absolute trash. No, she never said that. She said, look for, you know, a godly.
I knew that was a lie.
She told me like, look for a godly man. I really hope to God he is right wing. Yes,
well,
that was one of the
godly
people.
men are right wing. There's not a whole lot of godly left wingers. I'll just be real with you.
Well,
and
I
I'm
mean-
not on either side, so I'm not
Republican.
biased.
Marry
I
a
mean-
guy who's a hard worker. Marry a guy who like you can see yourself as the father, you know, of your future children. One thing that she definitely said that like stuck out to me was like whoever like you're seeing, whoever like you're dating, would if you had a child and stuff, like just picture like if I was talking to a guy, like is he a kind of guy I would want like my daughter dating and stuff, or is and then like, you know, if I had a son, like is, you know, is this the kind of like, you know, guy I want my son to, you know, grow up to be like?
Yeah,
Stuff,
that's
you know,
what it comes down to. Yeah, that's what it comes
vice
down
versa,
to.
like for women too, like for fathers, like who have sons, like asking, like, you know, is this like the kind of, you know, woman, you know, that you could see like being the mother of your kids, or would you, you know, approve of your son marrying like a woman, you know, like this person?
Well, you definitely want to look at it that way, but I'm more like thinking with my question. Did she ever give you any advice on what you should do or how you should behave or anything?
Definitely don't spoil them, but don't like deprive them of stuff. Like naturally you want your kids to have, it's like it's difficult to like find a balance between like not spoiling them, but also wanting to give your kids, you know, more than what you had.
I want to ask the dad. About stuff like this.
What's your question again, Nick?
Well, really just run with it anywhere, Dad. Like anything you're thinking about right now. But I'll ask you.
My thing is this. So me being a dad, my daughter's 15 years old. She'll be 16 in a few months. What I do now, and we've had this talk even last year, you know, I changed my life around to where I didn't want to be the dad that's just out there having sex, smoking weed, partying up and things like that, because I realized I have a daughter. She's going to see what her dad is like. And if she feels that neglect, that I care more about my life versus values, right? Giving her values, she may end up dating guys that are just as degenerate as me. Do you know what I mean? So I said I'm going to change my life around. That's why I'm such a big advocate for virginity and abstinence, because I think people should wait until marriage. I really do. I know the red pill and the manosphere always says men should sleep around with multiple women. If you're at a certain status, you should get multiple women, have options. That's fine, do what you do. But to me, I think that just ended up causing a lot more degeneracy, because it's men just sleeping around just for the sake of sleeping around. I get that marriage is not the most ideal because of the fact that it favors women more, the alimony, all that kind of stuff, the whole divorce thing. Like it could be a lot if you don't do a prenup and things like that. I understand marriages could be a scam, sham, call it what you want to, take your pick. But my thing is that I think if men and women today, especially younger people, if we practice, you know, virginity and actually take care of ourselves first and wait until marriage, we can have a successful marriage. Because real quick, going on a little rant, there's this idea of like, well, if I get married and I have sex, it's not gonna be like, why do you care about if it's the best or not? Like, why do you want your man to be that experienced or your woman to be that experienced? I mean, women do want a man who's experienced, but what I'm saying is that why do you want that? Why not just share that first time awkwardness between the two of you? Have something to kind of like giggle at and look back at. Like, remember the first time you had sex? Or whatever the case may be. Like, why not share those memories? Why have to have your girl be experienced? Like, when men are like, I want to have sex with her and it's bad.
I don't want to have sex with a chick who's never had anybody because then she won't know what she's doing. Dude, right. I think to myself, like, sex ain't that hard to figure out. And second of all, I would sooner have somebody that like I have to coach a little bit than some chick I know has been with everybody around the block. I would sooner have that. Like, that's no problem to me.
But I was gonna say, I find it disgusting that men want their women to be experienced. So you want her to be slobbing on a bunch of dudes and having sex with a bunch of dudes just so she can give you the best head because she gave the best head to the last. Like, she practiced on one guy and now you want that done to you.
Yeah,
like,
she's that good at it, man. She must have been doing it with a lot of other people besides you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're a sick individual, and this is my opinion.
Hot take.
And then Megan, go ahead.
No, I was like waiting for like you to like finish that.
I like strawberries in your head.
Because I don't like talking to people. Because I did have
like, Joyce called on you too.
No,
you felt weird. I could tell you felt weird midway.
No. Real quick. Hold on, real quick. Hold that thought, real quick. I just want to say this real quick. To end on that note, as a father, I want my daughter to be a kid. I don't impose politics on her. I don't impose my religion on her. I don't impose nothing on her. Whenever she has questions, or when we have time when we discuss like a lot of things, like sometimes she'll send me things about what her mom said, yeah, all this stuff, and we talk about it. Like we spend like 4 or 5 hours just talking about a lot, like deep conversations, where she sees that I'm trying to be this upright dad because I want to lead by example.
And she trusts you, man. She comes
Yeah,
to you. Like that's incredible.
Exactly. So if a boy likes my daughter and I find out this boy is like just wants to get into her pants, I tell her, I'm like, you let me know what he's trying to do, and don't allow him to try to get into your pants. That's what most men want. Most men that age, they're very horny, so they may like you, but if they're not,
bro, they will deceive you to all ends to get those pants off in ways you can't even imagine, ladies. Like that's the end goal. You're thinking he's so sweet or doing these. No, he's trying to bang.
Yeah, if he says he's gonna wait until marriage, but then try something with you before that, he's lying. And don't think that all men are like that. Just don't date guys like that.
Just have that approach until proven otherwise that he's not. Is my advice to you guys. Like kind of realize that's most likely the case because most men are so lustfully horny that they're literally going to lengths that you guys can't even imagine to try to deceive you into taking your pants off for them.
Okay, I 100% agree with Julius. I haven't done it right, but if I can go back,
it's never too late to change.
Wake, man.
God can redeem you, okay, and like start anew. Like you don't have to be the same person you once were.
So that's what I said. As a matter of fact, it's funny too because in this rap song I'm writing now, it says, "I know I have a past, but I'm not the same person. The way I think now is a whole new version." So it's like I'm practicing abstinence to where no, right, I got plenty more. Like, the whole lot more that came from. No, but for me, it's like I want to practice abstinence because I think it's important. Because if my daughter sees that I am not trying out there like chase, women. Matter of fact, sorry, I'm gonna put this out. There's actually a line in this other verse I have where I said, what did I say? I said something like, I said, I just want life to be sweet like Limpton. I ain't really into chasing peach. That's simping. Peach is like people use the emoji for like a big butt. So it's like I'm not chasing women. I want life to be sweet. So if my daughter sees that I'm waiting until she gets 18 to go date and really vet the woman I'm going to be with for long term, she sees that and go, wow, my dad is like not trying to be out here just slanging whatever,
lusting after pieces of ass. My dad's taking life seriously.
Exactly. So she sees that. So when a guy likes her, she's not going to allow that guy to just get into her. She's going to be like, no, because my dad told me that not to do this stuff. And I explained to her all this stuff too, and what happens when women let men in, how detrimental it could be. You do it once, over and over and over and over and over. Next thing you know, the last guy you get with not going to get the same treatment as all the other guys that you let in.
Yeah.
Hey, before I want Megan to get in here, Julius, my friend, great work, bro. You should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you as a friend. Doing great things over there, man. You're paying dividends in that young lady's life, and that's going to change the world.
I'm trying.
You're succeeding. You're doing more than just trying. But go on, Megan. The floor is yours, young lady.
So I'll let you piggyback off of just this whole topic, because I actually did really want to ask you, just as a father and stuff, and then as somebody who's doing psychology, probably wants to specialize in family and marriage counseling. Pardon me, I'm still debating. In your opinion, I have this is 2 parts. Do you believe there is such thing as a father being overprotective of his daughter when it comes to dating, but not for the right reasons?
Yeah, no, there is, because I think that becomes more controlling. For me, for example, right? There have been boys that like my daughter. And this is why I tell her, and she knows I don't play. I always say, if anything happens, they're gonna get the piece. I always tell her that, and she understands. There is a thing of being overprotective, because it's I think sometimes when you are overprotective, that actually pushes the child into doing more rebellious things, because you're trying to control every step of their lives. You have to allow them to kind of see it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Fall on their own and learn from that. Burn their hand on a stove accidentally.
It's not obviously you're a parent, you set boundaries, but it's not always wise to be too strict to a point where they're just going to do it anyways, just be sneaky about it. But also,
they just become much better at sneaking around you.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop.
But Julius, what I mean by that is Like, 'cause I was like telling this to like one of my uncles because he has like, you know, a little daughter, my little baby cousin. Like I told him like there is such thing as, you know, being overprotective, but not for the right reasons. And how I explained to him was if your reason of being overprotective of your daughter when it comes to like, you know, dating in the future, even though she's only like 4, so she's got a long ways to go. If it's for any other reason other than the fact that, you know, as it says in the Bible, like, you know, as far as like women and like your daughter, if it's not because you think your daughter is far more precious than Jules, that she deserves only, you know, the best guy out there, like she deserves, you know, nothing less than, you know, the best, that your daughter is one of the most important people in your life, and like you only want the best person to like marry her.
Then it's overbearing, you're saying, if you don't do it for those reasons?
Well, yeah.
Like, you know, like fathers are, because it's like I know like my father's pretty protective like when it comes to dating, but sometimes I feel like it's not for the right reasons. Like if it's not because like it's because he thinks so highly of me that he knows like I can do better.
Well, what might be some of his other motivations, if you don't mind, or reasons, if you don't mind me asking? Like I'm curious to understand.
The whole negative stigma when it comes to like just having a daughter, like they don't want to have to deal with, you know, somebody like being interested in them, like just because it's like, you know, oh, this dude's like, and not like giving them like a fair chance. Because like my brother-in-law, who is honestly such a great husband to my sister, he got a lot of crap in the beginning. Even like it, like he definitely did like prove very early that he was, you know, very serious like about my sister and stuff. Like it was a green flag when like he told like my sister like he wanted to introduce him like to his parents and stuff, like introduce him like to his family, because basically to prove like he's that my sister.
Yeah. But that's it. I would actually say that says a lot, ladies out there. I think generally speaking, that says a lot. If a man is willing to introduce you to his parents, he's not taking you lightly.
Yeah.
Right, Julius? Would you agree with that? Or
and like and another thing I was like telling my uncle is like if you really think about it, the way that like you yourself, like the way you carry yourself and the way that you treat your daughter will ultimately determine her standards. Like this one YouTuber I watch, she gets shamed sometimes for being like single, even though like the girl's only 23. It's like she's not like, you know, like she's not like too old and stuff. But like somebody asked her like, why are your standards like so high? She tells a story about like how, you know, she was just getting ready one day, like she wasn't like feeling like super pretty and stuff because she was also like super like she was under like the weather and just wasn't feeling her best. Her father literally got her like in the morning like a bouquet of like pink roses just because like he was, you know, thinking about her, and he wrote like a note saying like how, you know,
so she won't expect any or accept any less from a man that's trying to be her suitor, right? Is that what you're saying?
From her perspective, it's like, as far as I'm concerned, no guy.
My daddy treated me like a princess that I did get from.
Yeah, like he always opens doors for me. He always tells me how amazing I am. I know some fathers might look at that, you know, and say like, oh, he's just like overhyping his daughter and all that stuff. But it's like,
well, what if the daughter's doing like less than stellar behavior wise and stuff? Like, should the man still treat her that way, even though she's being kind of a brat and not deserving of it?
Well, she's not exact. That's.
I'm not saying that girl specifically. I'm just saying in general.
Well, she's definitely like a Christian and stuff.
Not her. I don't want to even nobody specific. Just in general, like let's say a woman is less than gracious in receiving that kind of treatment from a man and starts kind of frankly misbehaving or disrespecting in spite of being treated that way. Should he continue to treat her that way, or should he maybe stop and hold her accountable for her bad behavior and not reward it by treating her that way?
Well, I mean, I guess like call her out and break up with her if that's not.
Don't keep doing it, right? Because when she's not like receiving.
Like if you do not see yourself marrying that person, don't continue dating them and wasting everybody's time. I mean, I guess like that's the terrible thing that there's some women like who aren't appreciative of those things, and it ruins it for other women like who do expect more from like her perspective. It's like, you know, my father, you know, he does like a lot of these like nice things for me. No guy who has ever showed interest in me has ever done that. So she doesn't expect, you know, anything less than that naturally. And from her eyes, it's better to be single than to be with, you know, a guy who's not even worth her time. And you would know naturally if somebody's like not worth your time. Like if you can tell like early on if somebody's like actually going to show like they care about you and like go out of their way. It doesn't have to be like getting her like flowers and stuff, but like just the smallest things that like prove like you are thinking of them. I guess. Yeah. Is that how it is? Like, do you believe like the way that you treat your daughter is going to, you know, heavily influence, you know, the kind of guy she starts dating in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, this is one of those things where like, I don't helicopter my daughter. Like, I don't, mind you, I'm very protective of her and she knows that, you know. I'll give you an example. So last night, me and her went out. to the state fair. I had a family member that offered me some money. I said, cool. We went to the fair. And we had a good time, you know. Like I made sure she stayed with me. I didn't let her go off and do whatever. She saw friends there, but she stuck with me. Like even though she wanted to hang out with her friends, the whole time before we went, she was like, "Oh, I want to go with my friends. I just want to be around her dad." And I was like, "Listen. If we all go, I'll just be a chaperone. Like I want it to be as a unit, like Rough Riders." I was kind of making a joke.
Coolest chaperone ever, by the way. If you're in high school, I'm telling you.
Ever.
No, but it's like I can tell on one end to her, it's like to hang out with my dad. Like I'm 15, hang out with my dad, whatever. But I told her, I said, I'm not one of those goofy dads try to be like, hey kids, knock knock. Like I'm not like one of those
coolest
dads.
chaperone ever, man.
That's
real.
Joe
I'm not even
Biden.
exaggerating.
Yeah, like I was telling her, I said, listen, because she was trying to bring some friends and her sister, and I was like, listen, if you guys show up, I'd rather have it be together, so we're not separate. Other way, I can kind of like watch over you guys and things like that in case anything happened. And she's like, okay, like she kind of saw from that perspective, rather than me being like this goofy dad who's like, yuck, ready to go to the fair, slugger. Like I'm not.
That
like,
was a great Joe Biden impression.
Nice.
So it's like I'm not.
Like,
I'm not.
It reminds me of this movie called Courageous, where like one of the scenes, like the dad's a pastor and stuff, and the guy that's like who's interested like in his daughter and stuff. It's like he's not quite like the best, and like as far as like like the crowd he hangs around, like he saw that, but from like the daughter's side, I guess because of like how he like treats her and stuff, to her it just seems like he's just super like controlling, overprotective, and just like a pushover and all that stuff. And then it was like near like the end of the film, like it was because like he sort of like caught on to like why she thinks that way, and sort of like then he like took her out to, just like a father-daughter like dinner date, and he gave her like a necklace and stuff, and it's like, I'm only like this because I view you as one of the most valuable people in my life. Like, look at how amazing you are. Like saying like how pointing out like she gets good grades in school. Like she's so sweet to all of her friends. Like people think very highly of like his daughter. And he's like, that's how I view you. And like, I'm so proud to like be your father and stuff. And like, you only deserve like I'm trying to remember what celebrity like he pointed out or like who he pointed out that was like, who he would like consider like a good influence as far as like, males and stuff. And it's like, you only deserve the very, very best.
Yeah.
And it's like, if a father doesn't, I feel like I completely get like why fathers are overprotective, but there is such thing as being overprotective, not for the right reasons. But it's like, you have to obviously, be protective of like, your daughter in that sense, but also show her it's because you view her as like the most valuable person in your life.
For sure, but I would also suggest that we need to offer the father some grace if you're the daughters a little bit. Try to realize they're not in an easy spot. Sometimes it's an impossible spot. They're trying to figure out how to navigate it best as possible.
But try to find like a good like balance so like the daughter doesn't like start resenting you, because like that's how my sister.
If you both give each other grace and realize you're loving each other and you're trying to do what's best for each other, the relationship should be all right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say was that the more you impose as a father, again, if I was always like for example, my daughter, right? Let's say once we get done this live stream, if I knock on her door and was like, "How you doing?" and in half an hour I'm like, "What are you doing?" Half an hour, "What are you doing?" Like if I'm always trying to like do that, she's gonna be like, "Ugh, my dad's so annoying." That's gonna want to make her get away and then go do other things and then end up dipping in something to get away.
Hide stuff from you, not tell you things, and come forthcoming like she is.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you know how they always say, "Let kids be kids." I let my daughter be a kid. I let her be a kid. Whenever she does have questions, we talk about it. Like in depth, we talk about it. Like I always make sure to answer questions when she has it. I don't impose on her. I just let her chill and just relax, Matter of fact, there are times where like, she'll text me games. Like we'll play games on the phone, It's like stuff like that. We have a bond. It's like, for example,
that's cool, man.
On the fridge, there's like papers where we play tic-tac-toe.
That's really cool.
You know what I mean? Like whoever gets up, we'll do like an O or X, and then we try to figure out like how to play tic-tac-toe. We start to like go deep in tic-tac-toe. How do you win? Things like that.
That just warms my cold, I thought non-existent heart, Julius.
I love those father-daughter bonding experiences. I guess one of the things like my father like also started to learn is like, because like I feel like when a father like finds out he's having a girl, the first thing he thinks about is like, oh my gosh, like when it comes to like her dating and all that stuff, like there's so much more to her life.
I was going to say about that real quick.
Than just her future love life. And this actually like takes me back to like whenever I had the turning point event that only my dad could make it to, because my mom, she couldn't take any more like days off. So like my dad went to it. And it was sort of like that realization. It's like, yeah, she's going to be, be dating in the future, or like she's possibly going on dates right now and stuff. But like her love life is such a small portion of her life. Because I mean, that event, like having Charlie Kirk, you know, at Florida State, like that, he knew that was an event that like took months to like plan. And like a lot of, you know, hours, like staying up, like being in touch with the, you know, representatives from Turning Point, just to make sure like he was on campus. Cause like every single week from May until October, we were like doing stuff related to like that event. And he was like, look at my daughter go. What a badass.
Yeah.
But it was like, there's so much like more to her than just like her future love. Like,
no, that's true. But that's his responsibility, is to make sure he's raising you so that you'll be able to be a success in your love life. Like otherwise, like your career and all that, he can't get hands on in that. You know what I mean? Just to
like,
give you that a little bit of.
Like, it's not like I feel like, you know, a girl's love life is put on like such like a pedestal as like, you know, the peak moment of like her life that, you know, which caused a lot of girls to like focus on it so much. I'm like, I'm just going with the flow and like I'm letting like the right guy, you know, come to me and stuff. But it's like there's so much like more to, you know, a girl than just like who she's gonna, you know, marry in the future. Like there's so much other things to worry about, but also it's more so like focus on like seeing how amazing like your daughter is and letting her know like how amazing she is with everything like she's accomplished, and know she deserves nothing less than the best.
Yeah,
if it's just being overprotective, she's gonna resent you like for it, because it's like, do you
right? But I would say this as far as the compliments go, it's like I'm not overprotective, and I'm also not. I don't overvalidate. So
I was going to say, that's another fine line, huh? For Julie's hard to find the line.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I have something to say real quick, but I want to say is, when it comes to her, like when she actually does do something, like I do tell her every now and then, I say, hey, I'm proud of you because, you know, you got your own mindset. It's cool. I don't try to validate just because. I don't hand out trophies just because. And I think she understands that. When she does accomplish something, like she gets a good grade, she has straight A's and whatnot, I say, I'm proud of you because you actually put in the work to get those grades. And I'm proud that you actually took that dedication. When she's not doing that, I let her know, like, listen, if you don't do this, you will fail. I'm not gonna be like, well, hey, if you get bad grades, it's okay. No, because that's not gonna help her out. That's just babying her, even when she does get bad grades. If she gets bad grades, she has to hear it from me and say, listen, you keep screwing around, you're not gonna get good grades. The more you keep on doing this or focus on that, be on your phone, things like that, you're not gonna get good grades. And you're gonna get back.
That's
so
what
I'm very honest with her. I was gonna say, I told her this at 10 years old because I used to like lie to her, and I'll tell you why. I hit my microphone. I used to smoke weed back in the day, like a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And
there were lot of weed, folks.
No, I mean it was good times though. Like,
420.
No, it was fun.
420 is National Hunter Biden Day.
Yeah, it was fun smoking weed. But whenever I would come in the house, she would smell that scent on me, and she would ask, and I wouldn't be honest with her. And I realized that if I continue this, she's gonna never trust me with anything, even if I was actually honest. So
I've never done weed, but yeah, a lot of people like in college do. And every time I smell it, I always quote Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. I'm like, somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, it's
accent.
It's not bad.
Hey, but wait, real quick, while I'm thinking of it, dude, Julie, she just did an accent that made me remember. I think if you guys find this worth indulging, I can sometimes come up with crazy ideas. Julius knows this, but Julius does a great Trump impression, and I just started thinking, like,
I do a good Biden impression.
Did you do Hillary Clinton maybe by chance? You think you can pull off Hillary Clinton, Megan?
No, I can pull off Biden.
You can't do Hillary Clinton? I feel no way tired.
Well, let her do Biden first. You guys.
Give me something to say.
Yeah, no, listen. I'll prompt you guys both. We're going to have a debate, and starting with President Trump. How do you feel the country has gone since you were, as you claim, unfairly, unrightly removed from office?
Well, as you know, Nick, and Nick, I appreciate you for having me. God bless. As you know, Nick, when I was president, I had the greatest economy ever. But we had to close it down in 2020.
And then you built it again, Mr. President. To your credit, you built it again twice best economy.
We had the greatest economy, but we had this thing called the virus. This came from China. But as you know, they call me racist, Nick. They call me.
Yeah, Mr. President, why do you say that? Why do you say it came from China? Are you saying that because you're xenophobe or what?
Well, Nick, you know, they they call me racist because the virus, it came from China, and we had to close it down. We had the greatest economy ever. We had the lowest unemployment for blacks, for women, for Asian American, African American. Great economy. And I know if I became president, we're gonna build an economy. We're gonna build that wall, Nick. We're gonna build that wall. We got all the illegal aliens. Nick, it's gonna be fantastic. I'm telling you, Nick, you put me as your president, we would get that wall built, and we would definitely make America great again.
Wow, what a pitch. Mr. Biden, I don't know how you follow that one up, but I must extend to you, Mr. President, the honor of... I literally can't think of one good thing Biden's done to try to be nice. Mr. Biden, how do you contend against Trump's presidency or the words he just said? Do you have any pushback, Mr. President?
Where are we looking? Okay,
I see what
I can't break. No,
hey, well done.
I like that.
Bravo.
I like that.
Mr. President, you don't have to look anywhere, sir. I'm talking to you. You're not reading off of anything. I'm the host of this show called Nick, C3 Nick. I'm trying to do a fair interview with you, Mr. President. Nothing but respect. Do you know where we are right now, Mr. President? We're on something called a podcast. It's much like a radio show from your time, but now people can see us.
They can see us from where?
Well, don't worry about that because you can't see anything apparently with your eyes closed like that. You're not going to see it. Mr. Biden, do you ever realize that you're president of the United States, seating in the Oval Office right now with the nuclear football that could destroy the whole Earth? You ever consider that?
Where are we looking? During my time as senator of the great state of Alabama.
So you're close enough. Hey, what about your son Hunter's allegations? Mr. Trump has been making an awful lot of noise about your son, Hunter.
He is the greatest man I've ever known, and I am proud to have him as my daughter.
Well, Mr. Biden, all due respect, I must do authentic journalism and give Mr. Trump a chance to make the case against your son Hunter Biden, who has been in quite a numerous amount of scandals lately in the press. We can't ignore that.
I am proud of my son Hunter. End of quote.
I'm struggling to understand what you're saying at this point, Mr. President.
He'd probably be more proud if he wasn't doing drugs. Let's just keep it real. If he wasn't doing drugs, he wasn't doing drugs. I didn't do drugs. My brother smoked a cigarette. I told him, don't do cigarettes. He didn't do cigarettes. I never had a drink in my life. No drink.
Mr. Trump, to your credit, you also made your big outrage with this is that the FBI has been making this no news. They're kind of intimidating people. They're doing the work of Joe Biden's office for him. Our tax dollars are essentially funding the suppression of this story that should certainly be getting some national attention more often, right? You make that claim all the time.
Well, Nick, as you know, the FBI, the mainstream media, they're attacking me. They're giving me subpoenas. They're bringing up Carol Jean. They're saying I sexually assaulted her. I never sexually assaulted her.
Mr. President, I must hold back my chuckling when I remember your response when you were subpoenaed. You basically laughed at such a suggestion. You said, I think, and I quote, "She wasn't in any danger."
She wasn't.
Meaning, Mr. Trump, if we can be candid, she was not attractive to you.
She was not attractive, least attractive. The person who interviewed me wasn't attractive, very attractive. I wouldn't date her. I would not date that woman at all. Very unattractive. Not
she had nothing to worry about, I think is what you were saying.
Nothing to worry about whatsoever. but Nick, they tried to subpoena me. They tried to the FBI.
They can't stick nothing to you, Mr. Trump. They try to keep sticking something. Teflon Dawn, they call you out here in the streets. Teflon Dawn.
President. Nick.
Is it nap time just yet?
And Mr. Biden just stumbled his way into the conversation. Hey, Mr. President. Yes, this is Mr. Trump, who he claims, and I'm not sure if you're still familiar with him, that you egregiously stole the presidential office from him this past election cycle. Do you have any response to that could somehow be semblant of a coherent being that won't terrify the American public that you're our leader?
Well, come on, man. You know I got those 85 gajillion votes.
Evidently not.
Kamala Harris is the best president our nation has ever had.
Hey, do you have any information on former President Barack Obama perhaps having a homosexual tendency?
Oh, Barack Obama is the greatest president of our time.
Did you ever fuck him?
Him and his
I'm
husband.
just kidding.
Him and his, back in the day, he's the best boyfriend. I mean, brother I've ever
boyfriend. Nice.
had.
Okay, so
his husband Michael Obama. I mean, his wife Michelle.
Bro, I just thought of the funniest thing. Can you do any female politicians like a Hillary Clinton or a Kamala, Nancy Pelosi? You think you can pull off any? It's not hard. There's not.
No, there. Real quick side note. There's a chick.
Because Julius, I want you guys to go on a blind date, bro. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris on a first date. Imagine simulating that.
That would be.
Huh?
That would be insane.
Donald Trump and Kamala Harris on a first date.
Yeah,
their blind date. First date.
we got
Hillary on a first date. Imagine
even better. If you think you can do Hillary, that's even better.
Yeah, we got that for like the next show.
You will elect me. I will be your leader.
That just sent a chill down my spine.
Well, I'll give you a preview, Nick. Hillary is somebody that I would not pay for. I mean, I once said it. I once said it that we could lock her up, but now, Nick. I mean, I'm saying that now she's a great person. I first wanted to lock her up, but she's not so bad. But would I pay for her? Maybe not. Maybe not. But no.
I'm sensing you guys can have a potential chemistry. I'm sensing you guys can hit it off. You haven't given each other a fair shake.
Roses are red. Biden acts like a kid. Hillary couldn't get the job done, but Monica sure did.
Hey-o. Well, folks, this is a cliffhanger. I'm so glad you guys indulged that. And young lady, I'm so glad that you're as good as you are at the impressions, because I know Julius to be great, but I didn't expect you to come through like that. I really am excited about simulating a date between Trump and whoever you'd want to bring. Hillary would be the best.
Nancy Pelosi.
Anybody. A politician, Nancy Pelosi. You name it. There's a lot of funny options here.
Oh my god.
There is
who else? Who would be like a funny? Oh my gosh, Marsha Blackburn. Senator Kennedy. Like, tell me, like, say something, respond to something.
Hold on.
You want me to talk like Senator Kennedy?
No, that's Mitch McConnell.
Well,
no, I don't even want to talk. I don't want to do an impression of him because it's almost insulting. I think he has a condition. Oh shit, Julius got the card deck out. Megan, buckle up. Watch out. This guy's a black magician. His name is Black Magic.
I saw K-Train talk about something.
He's literally a black magician, Megan.
Yeah, K-Train had the joke. He said, Julius was trying to do card tricks, but he got high.
I saw that. Hey, that's the comment of the show, K-Train.
All right, I'm going to use the 4 aces here. So bear
Ladies
with me.
and gentlemen, the amazing Black Magic for your entertainment.
I'm not sure how much longer you can stay on because I do have to go to sleep in a bit.
Megan, this is the end of the show. We're going to hang out.
Yeah, Megan,
you're gonna like this. 1 minute.
You're gonna like this. Yeah, you're gonna like this.
I got finals this week.
And be prepared to be amazed, Megan. You don't seem impressed so far. 4 aces. I see it. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So we got the 4 aces here, right? So I'm showing you guys 4 aces, right? Hopefully you guys can see that the 4 aces. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the whole point with these aces is, so I just want to kind of show you guys again. We got the ace of clubs, we have the ace of spades, we have the ace of heart, and the ace of diamonds, right?
Correct.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to take the aces, okay? The whole point is I'm going to make each ace turn over without you seeing me. How impressed would you be if I can make them turn over without you seeing me?
I just want to see how you do it.
Megan, will it blow your mind?
Watch the hand. Did you guys see it? You guys catch it? See, look, the ace of spade, the ace of diamond, and one card gets turned over, which is the ace of clubs, right? Here, look, I'll show it to you again. So if I just do a shake like that, the ace of clubs actually comes back, and now it's the ace of spade that gets turned over.
You're the ace of spades, bro. What? This is crazy.
So look, watch this. Look, if I do one twist, just like that, see, now the ace of spades comes back, right? And then now it's the ace of hearts turned over. So, and then if I do this again, if I just do this one little move just like that, see, now the ace of heart comes back, and then it's the ace of diamond,
Megan.
right?
You
So
see this,
you got.
Megan?
So you guys seen the aces, right? So I have the ace of spade and the ace of diamond. Ace of diamond here, and then I also got the other two cards, the ace of heart and the ace of clubs, right? So if I put all the cards on here and I just shake the whole entire deck, see now I get all 4 aces to come back just like that.
It's actually really entertaining watching it's like fascinating watching a psychologist watch this and try not to have her mind blow consciously.
So yeah,
we got content over here, people.
That's the card trick.
Julius blows my mind. Honestly, I try to it sounds rude, but I try not to pay attention and ignore it as much as possible when Julius is doing his black magic because he has effed my mind up a couple of times, girl.
Oh my god!
I told you to buckle up. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
they don't call him black magic for nothing. It's not because he's a black guy doing magic. He's doing black magic over there.
It's simple tricks. Like it's just very simple.
Do you have some magic trick that can get Biden out of the White House?
I wish.
We're working on it. We're working on it. That's the grand finale.
Yeah, I wish.
Hey, Mr. Biden, will you come back soon and have another? I really want to do a simulated date with Trump and somebody from DC, man. That will be a banger. You guys are so good.
There is a chick on Instagram who does Kamala Harris really good. No, it's funny that there's this one chick that did Kamala Harris impression, and she did her laugh really good. But this other chick, yeah, so she did her laugh good. No, but this other chick, she really does Kamala. I mean, like she does Kamala Harris to the T. It is like,
she does.
I mean, I like this other chick. Well, this one chick, I forget her name. I think it's like Delilah or something like that. She's really good with the Kamala laugh. She is. But this other chick, man, she knocks it out the park. Like she sounds like exactly like Kamala Harris. It is bizarre. It's crazy. But anyway,
hit us with Kennedy. Did you have a Kennedy impression?
I'm trying to think about what's like his most iconic quotes. Well, Tucker, the price of gases are so high, it's cheaper to just buy cocaine and just run everywhere. Let's see what else does he say?
It's the accent.
This is great.
He has like a strong Southern accent. Like this dude is more country than a bucket of corn.
No, he's a good old boy if there ever was one.
Sometimes
he was big in the shirt.
That is dope. Oh, hey, don't forget about this shirt. It's pretty dope too.
Well, Sean, sometimes I think President Biden don't eat enough fiber. Those are actual quotes. This is like an actual compilation.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Of like some of his like best one-liners. That's what Senator Kennedy's like known for. What else did he say? Now, I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut. I'm like, I would have paid you if you did.
Yeah, right? Dude, Julius knows me enough to know right now, Megan, I don't think you quite realize my crazy, creative mind is running with possibilities for ideas with YouTube. They can do these. I'm all over the place over here with, this is awesome.
Drinking, avocado toast eating.
You're too good.
Quick, before we end this.
But it's harder when you're stupid.
You sound good.
I got a shameless plug. It may or may not happen tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm going to be on Anomaly's stream tomorrow. He actually reached out to me on Friday.
What time, Julius?
Yeah, we were supposed to do a stream on Saturday, but we didn't. So I'm going to be on his stream tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. I'm going to be on his stream tomorrow. So I may not do a live stream tomorrow on my channel if I'm going to be on his. It just depends on what time. If he says 10 o'clock, I'll do it, and I'll do my stream later on. But I'm going to be on his stream tomorrow, so that's going to be pretty dope.
No, it's going to be more than pretty dope, people. Anytime Julius is on with fucking Anomaly, I don't even swearing over here now. I'm so excited. They're banger shows, I just got to say. And I say this with such confidence because I'm not even worried about my boy getting stage fright or pressure. I've seen it enough times now where I'm just like, dude, it's guaranteed gold, people. If you know what's good for you, you should tune in.
Yeah. No,
hey, please, how do they keep up on that? Because you're going to put the time out at some point in your Instagram story or something, or what? How will they know when to tune in?
Yeah. So I would just say whenever he invites me, I'm going to reach out to him after this live stream right now. I'm going to reach out to him and see what's still on for tomorrow. Whenever he gives me the link to Streamlab, if he said be on at 11 a.m. or something, and he gives me the link before that, yeah, I'll just post it right before 11 and just put out, hey, it's going to be a show of me and Anomaly, come check it out, blah, blah, blah. I'll just do something like that. I'll do a quick little thumbnail, and I'll just put his link and just put like, hey, me and Anomaly gonna do a stream. Check us out. Blah blah blah.
Where, on your Instagram story or something, or a post?
Yeah,
or?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. So,
Word.
I will say, with this show, I did want to stick more on to the topic of what we were talking about. We didn't get to much of it.
I hear you. We got carried away. That's my dude. I took you off the rails big time all day. That's on me, boy.
No, it's on both of us because we paid attention to the comments with Yusuf. So it was just weird.
No, I was kind of in a rambunctious mood, just taking it wherever. And I think you sensed at some point, like, he's a bucking bronco. I'm just gonna let him go.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So
that's my bad, bro. But I got excited for many reasons, and I really wrote down a bunch of notes for next week. Like, we can have the show that you meant to have tonight. Your partner's gonna make it up to you.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I would love to get more people like Megan. I want more people like Megan on to really have this. Like, I want to have a full like Hello Squares on here. We're gonna actually have like an actual discussion. I would love to have that.
I wish I still had my political TikTok. I got banned.
What happened? Did they ban you?
Yeah.
Do you have a TikTok that can go live? Like, do you have over 1K followers?
Like, my old like political account had almost 60K.
No, but can you currently go live? Because I go live. I'm pretty. I don't want to brag, but pretty popular on there right now. It's just getting nice.
Like, one of my most popular like posts, and it had like 90,000 likes. It was me asking a question. It was titled like Cuban asks communist, question at a capitalism versus communism debate. Which,
dude, I hosted capitalism versus communism debate like a month or two ago in my Discord server. But that's what I'm doing on TikTok.
Like the microphone stuff. Wait, were you doing that?
No, because it was like there's like a lot of people, but like I just like said it out loud, and one of my friends like recorded me like asking the question. But like that was like my most popular video, like like a Cuban like whose family escaped.
Yeah, no, that's a great angle. I love the dynamic and the gimmick. It's great. You should definitely get on my TikTok live. Like, I do debates and stuff on there. If you have access, if you ever
the gist of it was I asked like two questions like in the same sentence. Like I just asked him like two questions. He did not answer neither of them. And at the end, because like the video cut off because whatever he was recording on had like a 1 minute limit. But at the end of it, after he answers questions, it's like, thank you. Also, I just want to say I really, really like your Apple laptop and your Dr. Pepper soda.
He's like, go to hell, little bitch.
No, some person was like, "Ooh," she called.
That's a burn. No, that's a hell of a post, I'll say. But I'm not gonna let this drop. I'm hosting great debates, girl, and your brain could be used in there. So if I'd be down. If you ever want to step in the fire, we out here. Go ahead, Lewis.
Megan, you brought up something in my comments earlier. You said that one day we should do a panel about virginity. And I'm really down to have that conversation.
I love that. That's a great topic.
I'm trying to like see how I was gonna like word it, but like taking like different like points of views just like on it. Do you think it's like really, really pushed on society? I mean, it's one thing to push like virginity versus like pushing celibacy, because not everybody grew up in a Christian home, and there's some people that I know that are Christians, but they lost their virginity before they gave their life to Christ. And so they like seems like their past. Like, taking like different like points of views on it. I guess.
No, but we should make this a cliffhanger for our next show because we're way past the end now. But like these are all great topics that we can seriously kill.
This is why I wanted to have the conversation, because I was trying to get this done in downtown, but they kicked me out of downtown. It was like stupid. So I was trying to really get that done. I wanted to get people's thoughts on it. This one guy had a really solid answer.
I feel like it's not.
Don't answer that. We're gonna do a cliffhanger. Like ... Tune in for Megan's answer, folks.
It's not a social contract, but
yes, there we go. There we go. That's a good teaser.
Well, hold on. Before we go real quick, hang on a second. Before we go, Nick, I was going to ask you, are you down one day to do like a longer stream, like up to like 3 hours, maybe? Just if we get more people on.
Yeah. Let's talk about that off air, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of the show. I'll be honest, I didn't want to talk about more of what the topic was. I'm just saying I just kind of wanted to because it's a good conversation. That topic was a good conversation. We got carried away because we paid attention to the comments too much.
That's all on me, man, for being childish and indulging that way too much. I owe you next week, bro.
No, it's good. It was me too, though, because Yusuf was just bothering me. It's just been a bother. But
come on, bro.
Yeah. Megan, we appreciate you having you on. We do want to come back with a fantastic show. We want to get more guests on here. I know sometimes we kind of drift away to different stuff. But the magic show is never a drift away. That's always dope stuff to see. If you don't like magic, I don't know what kind of person you are. But
if you don't like magic, then you ain't black.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like magic, then you ain't black.
You're telling if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you heard that, Julius? Since you don't support Biden, according to him, you're not black.
Yeah,
no, Mitch has made that clear long ago. Julius is not a black guy. Julius is not black. Don't mind his skin color.
I'm biracial. See, I'm biracial. No. So yeah, no, we appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, like in the beginning what we were talking about, if you guys did appreciate that, do hit that like button. If you like them, kind of just drift away, whatever. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. Like, do you enjoy these topics? Do you want to hear different topics? Let us know in the comments below. We appreciate you guys for watching.
You want more Megan cameos?
Well, we pay attention to those comments. Like, if you guys give us feedback, we welcome it and we will incorporate it if it's fit.
Yeah. Nanya said, I love magic. What's up, Nanya? Yeah, so we appreciate you guys. Again, do hit that like button. Do hit subscribe. All that good stuff. If you guys want to support our channel to help us grow, the links are down below, the Cash App, things like that. If you want to be a guest on the show, you want to email us. All links are down below. Follow us on all other social media platforms. Links are down below. Mark says, love the show, guys. Appreciate you,
You're the man, Mark.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Mark's been A1 since day one. So, appreciate you, and Megan, we appreciate having you on. We want to have you on like more.
Wish me luck on finals.
Oh yeah, good luck on finals too. Study, don't party. So
maybe at the end of it.
Party after you studied so hard that you passed your finals with straight A's, maybe. If you have to party.
Don't party with drink, no alcohol, and no boys.
Don't party without a reason to celebrate. A good reason. That's a good rule.
The thing is, though, there might actually be a second date. I might have to rain check on that second part. On that last
no, I think that you seemed like you were excited about it when we first asked, so you might as well give it a shot if you have no reason not to.
Bro, I got so excited when he said when I was like, so you're a Republican? I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I can go.
He was like, humana.
All Republicans are the same. Be careful with that too. So
well, we gotta leave a cliffhanger with that one too. There's a bunch of pins because I could see. I want to unpack this, but like we can't get into. We gotta put a bunch of pins in all these topics, Megan. You gotta remember.
Yeah.
Bring us back with the update on after the second date.
Well,
that should be within the week,
right? I was
really
excited because I was able to go on a whole rant of how much I cannot stand Kamala Harris.
Girl, you want to endear yourself to him? Do some of your impressions in front of him. He'll be so attracted to you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm serious.
On that note, we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you guys. God bless you all. Tune in next Sunday, Asian Men Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff. So till then, God bless you all, and we'll see you. Have a good one, guys.
That is not gonna be it.